So Despicable Me 4 trailer came out a while ago, and didn't know if you guys had seen it.
The trailer I
No, I
have.
haven't. I've seen the trailer for the Megaverse though. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yes, the Megaverse.
Is that,
Welcome everyone
oh.
to this season of the Chief City Critics podcast, because that's the cold open. Yeah.
We
Woo!
made it.
Woo!
Welcome, welcome, group, gang, people, whoever you are, whatever you are.
Group
Back to the Chief
season
City Critics
17.
podcast.
The
I'm
gaggle
one
of
of your hosts,
folks.
Kiki Writer.
Stop talking over each other.
No.
Sprinks, you gotta introduce
Oh,
yourself.
Crimson already went?
I
Yes.
did.
Oh, I talked over it.
Pay
And I'm
attention.
Spranks.
Yeah, we're all talking over each other, okay?
We're too excited. Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
As you can see, if you
Interesting
shut up. If we're on the if you're on the YouTube and Rumble side, you can see that we still have our Cat in the Hat hats on from when we covered the film last week, or actually, yeah, it's still last week. Recap's close. Anyway, but hey, if you want to know updates of more of like what's happening after 100, gasps! Macaulay Culkin's face in Home Alone. Well, we got like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Letterbox. I don't think Letterbox is going to give you much information on that, but hey, we got those other things and anything, and they'll fill you in on things that could occur. Gosh,
Maybe.
I can never get
Gosh,
it
is
quite
this
right
our best recap?
with
It
this
might be
intro
one of
so
our-
far.
Yeah, it might be our best opening so far. How great to finish off the legacy of 100 with that. I mean,
I know our pure
It
professionalism.
fits. It's us. It's on par.
pure professionalism we exude here at the GC Critic Podcast.
Can you believe we
Well,
don't use a teleprompter?
Where's the script? You didn't send it in, Sprinks. You're late on the deadline.
You think I'm the
Uh,
writer here?
I know, it's really whack.
yeah, we live in a topsy-turvy world. Well, I guess we'll go right into our first question. What was the rating that surprised you the most this season?
I don't know. I'll jump onto that immediately. So Sprinks would have nothing to talk about. Uh, none of them really stood out as that crazy this season. I think Sprinks' objective kind of had a little bit low of my understanding, but it's nothing I would need to pick the brain of. Uh, Still, Alice, I think all of our subjectives are out of the norm, but we explained those thoroughly. So I guess my surprise would be the subjective for Still Alice, like across the board.
It's a very,
But it makes sense
very
with our explanations.
yeah, it's a very objectively well made movie, but I think it's not a movie we want to see because it's sad. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Yeah.
It's heart wrenching.
Yeah, it pulls at the heartstrings. And no, and that, while that's good, it just does it in such a like a raw way that it's harder to bring yourself to rewatch it. So it makes sense. It checks out, as it were.
Most surprising for me was probably Crimson's score of subjectivity on Fundamentals of Caring. Because it's a Netflix film and it's a film I pitched, and it was not between the 4 to 6 range.
Let's see what we got. Punisher and Arcane. What other Netflix things did I like? I think
That you've
it's a
liked?
pretty small list. It's pretty.
You like 6 Underground?
It's okay.
I think Jurassic Park's on there right now.
Mm,
Not a Netflix original, so I guess it doesn't count.
You like Stranger Things?
It's okay.
Castlevania?
It's okay.
Not a big Netflix guy.
It's a real miss or miss, you know.
But hey, I think they
Um,
might have some better track records of TV shows than Disney Plus.
That's
At
maybe.
this rate, yes.
they do pump out more.
I think the only surprise ring for me is might be Springs' subjective for Kung Fu Panda 2. I don't know. It's not. I'm not like super curious about it, but I am curious as to why that's a 5 in your book compared to I think the predecessor and other animated films
Well, Kung Fu
of
Panda.
kind of this.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda 1 was phenomenal. And I think the
Yeah.
jokes landed and the tone fit and the characters all fit and the world itself was good. And like, I found it way more enjoyable than Kung Fu Panda 2. I didn't go back and re-listen, and I feel like Crimson before the recap asked me about it too, and I'm like, I feel like me in that moment of our coverage of Kung Fu Panda 2 had it squared of understanding of what it was that I felt then. And I'm sure I could probably still agree with it, but it just felt I remember not a lot of jokes landing. Um, I like Gary Oldman's voice acting as the character. I didn't really care for him in the world and everything. Um, because the big failure to me was like he killed off all the pandas and they're still pandas, so the bad guy didn't accomplish his goal. Uh, I just remember there's things that later on in the film answered something that worsened it for me, but it wasn't like an overall like terrible film. It was just kind of for me to watch.
Okay.
I mean,
And
objectively 7.5, so there's definitely
yeah,
some
no,
good
yeah,
things
that's
to
what I'm
it.
saying. I'm digging into your subjective a little
Yeah,
bit, so I was curious to see why it was less enjoyable for you overall. Um, okay.
Yeah, I might have to dig on that one in the future, see the other Sprinks fives, because now that you pointed it out, it does seem
It is a little
stand out.
odd, but it's I was just curious, I suppose.
I have a non-standard question to throw out there.
Oh,
We've had 100 pods, and I figured, what a time to ask a question such as this. What video would you want to redo or join if you ended up missing out? Which would be Ryder, because I don't think Sprinks has missed a video yet.
I don't think I have. I know you have. Both of you have.
I've missed I've missed one, and I've left on two later.
Video I don't
Of
want to
the
redo.
Blade Runner
Oh
2049,
shoot.
Oh Brother, and Riverdale. I missed that one
Oh
entirely.
crap. What was it? Clone High. That would be my answer.
That's one you'd want to
Redo.
redo again.
I was terrible in Clone High. I know I didn't like it, but it really felt like me not liking it changed my like just my full follow through. Like Cat in the Hat didn't like Velma and Mars Needs Moms and Thunder Force. Like these are things that we've covered that I don't care for. Clone High to me really stuck of like something like that affected me throughout the recording of that. So if I could go back and redo that, I think that would be my answer.
mm,
Yeah,
I'm
that's not a
still
bad
thinking.
choice.
I'm still thinking on mine here. The easy answer is Spirit because I had some fun out of podcast conversations with Crimson due to that. I think it
There's
would have been.
something visually you caught that I think Sprinks would freak out if we showed it. We still haven't
Was it the
shown them
PNG
that.
horse or something you said?
Yeah, did we show you that?
I
We didn't show you
don't
that, right?
think so.
We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bonkers how we didn't catch that, Sprinks. It's so obviously right in front of you.
Yeah. The reason I think I'd want to be there for that is purely so that was in the live recording because I think that was the laughter that Crimson and I had because Crimson dragged me through to watch that to make sure I was ready for the recap, and
Yeah.
we had to pause and laugh for like 10 minutes
You would
about
have
it.
heard
So
about the apples, which I still
the
hold
doppelganger,
high.
yeah,
The
I've heard
apples
about
is
that, but
so damn cool.
Yeah, I mean, you were entranced by it. You couldn't believe it. You'd never seen
It's
anything
like an
like it.
animation technique that I never see, and it's so cool.
um,
Yeah, I'm still stuck on which one I would want to do again. I think what I'd
Riverdale.
want to do. No, I'm okay with not doing. Even though I would like to talk to Biomon, but well, maybe that would be worth it. You know what? Retract. Yeah, I'll Riverdale. I would do that.
let's see. I'm going through our history real quick to see which one I'd want to redo.
Oh, I have a perfect answer for writer.
Perfect, you said.
Yeah, because he wasn't there.
Uh,
Death
The
at Fuel.
oh,
the National Treasure TV show.
That's one you want me there for. I can live with missing that. I'm okay.
National Treasure 2
That is
was
true. Book of
also
Secrets are
missed
one
out
there.
on.
That's a more
Uh,
serious answer. Yeah.
I'm thinking if I were to redo one in a more serious sense, I probably actually want to redo Secret Garden, so I can watch it again, and not necessarily redo like go back and do it the first time. I'd want to do it again like now, so I can rewatch the movie and
Have a new outlook
see if
on
it
it.
lands with me more. Yeah,
That would be cool. Because you have changed your subjective from that, but you haven't seen it since then, so you don't even
yeah.
know if the
I
change
I've
is
changed yeah.
justified.
Yeah, I changed my subjective based off of other things that have been lowered and moved around because my subjective tends to change a lot, and it's going to continue to change a lot because it's based on my feeling towards things. So that would probably be my answer for redoing.
Right. Good answers. Good
Yeah.
answers.
Do you want to throw out a standard question, Springs?
I'll throw out a question,
Or
but it's not standard. Gotcha.
yeah,
Um, yeah, in celebration of the 100. Um, out of the 100 props that Crimson has lovingly drawn for the outro um, to the pod on the visual ends of YouTube and Rumble, what one prop from those 100 would you like to have in your own possession?
Ooh,
ooh,
that's a hard one, isn't it? Good thing I have it right in front of me, and I can look at my
yeah,
own
me
work.
too.
And again,
I just pulled it up.
as a prop, it's not like it had magical properties, don't work. It's just
Yeah, I mean, I have a good guess for you, Springs, on here. I think you would probably be what's his face from Willow, his helmet, um, like on his name,
General Kale.
Krell,
Kale.
Kale.
General Kale.
Yeah,
Krell is a Jedi from Star Wars.
That might be top of my list. It's really cool.
yeah. I feel like that would be for you. For ya. The bluish green man's pretty good, but he would take up a lot of room. Uh, it might, yeah, bluish green man for National Treasure.
I think this would be controversial, but I think I would take the droid because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Even though it's from Obi-Wan
Leia's
Kenobi, yeah, even though it's
droid.
from Obi-Wan
Oh,
Kenobi, and I hate the show, I still would take the droid. I think
that's surprising.
I might.
No,
Okay, well, it'd be between the droid and I think the art piece by Death, or
Ooh,
the
the
art piece of
canvas.
Death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would take it if it was better art. But I made my point in that video. No one going for the possessed doll that may or may
No,
not be possessed if it was a
no,
prop.
no,
we're good, thank
no,
you.
no.
I mean, I'll take it,
Uh,
but I'm taking it to burn it,
I don't
and
want
it's
the
not something I'd
changeling
want to keep.
wheelchair. I don't want any second guess cursed object. No, I'm good.
what about the shrunken head walkie-talkie from Ellington?
You know, Crimson, I'll take the shrunken head if you take Betty Cooper's panties.
What am I supposed to do with those? Frame it?
Have fun with it.
Okay.
Xener,
That's
put me in a
that's
corner,
pretty
I'll
good.
put you in a corner.
That's not even comparable.
Oh, it sure is.
You guys want to talk this out?
No,
Or
we're good. I'm moving on.
Moving on. As Cecil Fredericks once said, a wise man.
knows when to fold
Hang on. Whoa.
them?
Cecil
What?
Fredericks did not see The Gambler.
What? What? That's not what I said.
Did
I'm
you
not singing.
did you say Cecil Fredericks?
You said moving on, right?
I did. Or someone
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, you said moving on.
What
Cecil
happened
Fredericks
here?
from Night at the Museum.
Yeah,
That's his name,
Dick
right?
Van Dyke.
Yes. He always said, moving on.
No, I know what you're saying, and I know what Ryder said with you gotta know when to fold them. So,
Oh,
he was doing The Gambler.
okay. You're confused with him. I thought you were confused with what I said.
Wild.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Smooth the ride.
Yeah. Uh,
How y'all feeling with a segment?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I've been
Shock value.
craving for the segment for about a month now.
wow, that much?
It has been my high pretty much every day of knowing it's like Christmas, knowing I'm getting closer and closer to the segment for this recap.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm done to move in the second. Now, I want to ask you boys this as a personal question. Should I have alcohol for this?
I
Uh,
think
no,
I think the results would be better if you weren't.
no. I
All
think it
right,
would be more sincere from the heart without.
all right. I can do this then. Because spoilers, everybody. I think I'm at first.
Yes, I believe you
Oh,
indeed
first for
are.
yes. Uh,
Yeah, for the
I
bracket.
guess
For
to
the
go
But
with
if you want to
game
yeah.
that we
explain the
haven't
game,
discussed
Yes,
yet.
first.
for the segment, we are going with bracket banner. Again, we've done it once before, which is still at a stalemate of worst movie tied between Splice and The Last Jedi. Still has not moved. Um, so
And nor will it.
it might. We need feedback. People let us know. We should probably ask guests. You think we should do that every time we have a guest on? Ask them and start tallying those. That could be something.
They have to have seen both movies, though.
That is true.
'Cause
Anywho,
otherwise, it's going to
Requires
be like.
well, during that bracket,
Because no,
sometimes we
no,
hadn't seen,
because
but
no offense to Splice, I know more people have seen The Last Jedi.
oh yeah, that's way bigger of a film. Anywho, with this bracket banner, in celebration of 100, rather than a collective group made bracket for all of us to work on, we have custom made individual brackets for each other. So Crimson and I have made one for Ryder, Ryder and I have made one for Crimson, and Ryder and Crimson made one for me. So when it comes to the decision making, it's on to the individual for the tailored. So it is 3 brackets. We have them each listed as 16 uh, dockets, I guess, opposed to 8, which we thought was too short, and 32, which we thought would be too long. Are there any
I
more
mean,
rules on
16
that?
times 3, we got plenty of content to
Well, true,
generate
but if
here.
that was 32 times 3, yikes.
Oh, yeah, no.
I believe did we
Right.
all set the rule of the 16 in the personalized bracket? Um, 8 of whatever it is are from the podcast, and 8 are from anywhere else.
I
Was that
think
met
we've stuck
on
We
with
all
that,
3?
yes.
didn't strictly. I think it's off by
Well, yeah, we're off by
one.
1, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I guess technically 2. Right? It's not even, but there is stuff from outside the pod.
Okay. Just curious on that matter. I think anything else would be onto the individual bracket, unless there's something that's still over all 3 that I haven't shared.
I don't think so. Any hurdles we come across, we will smooth, kick over, and run over
Yeah. Violently.
Well,
Um,
okie doke.
unapologetically.
Well, as Ryder put it, first one is for Ryder. Um,
you
Crimson
want to
I
give me.
created.
We should probably give pitches and stuff before this starts.
I don't know what I mean, that's why
I mean,
I have like
unless you
history.
want to blind. Yeah.
No,
Well,
you'll know
give your
what the
history, but
topic
I'm
is.
saying.
You're gonna know you're not going in blind.
Okay.
No, you'll know the topic. We're not doing a blind ranking. Um, at least I hope not. That's not what I envisioned.
No,
Okay.
where you have to guess what the prompt
At the
is.
end,
That wouldn't
well,
be very
yeah.
good.
Um, of the 2 that I made for Ryder and Crimson, Ryder, yours took, and I'm gonna ballpark this because there was a big break in between Crimson and I making it. I'm thinking yours took 6 hours to make.
What? Wow. Why? What?
Crimson,
Well,
is that
I
within
Oh,
the
with me
ballpark?
involved? Oh,
From the start
you're
brainstorm,
counting the gap or not
from
counting the
I'm
gap?
not counting the gap. Because if I'm counting the gap,
It
it
doesn't
took us
sound.
about 2 weeks to make. So I'm not counting the gap. I'm
It
saying
doesn't.
from the start of the 2 of
Are you
us,
counting finalizing the images as
I
part of
am
that?
yes, I am counting from the individual start brainstorm point of starting to the final list of what's paired with what,
Oh, not the photos, just
not the
the
photos,
listed
just
things.
listed.
Okay.
I'd say about 5.5 to 6
I
hours.
I was
wow.
leaning around 5 and a quarter. I don't think it was 6, but it was a lot.
It took
Uh,
a long time.
Did you guys struggle to narrow it down, or
We
what was the big time consumer there?
the
we made
I'll let Crimson share.
a lot of far along lists. Like we had a lot of options. We narrowed it down, and then we kind of workshopped a lot of the medium ones before we cut those, and then we uh, finalized. How many before we did the final three?
I don't
We did like
remember. Yeah,
four
I don't
rounds of
remember how
cutting.
many we started with. I think I came with
Yeah,
7. You came
because
with
you started
5 or
deleting
something.
them
Yeah.
once we
Then we
were
went back and
editing
forth
them.
getting rid of them. We finaled with 3. Of those 3, we
Like
made complete bracket lists. Then we decided of those 3
minus
which one to
pairing.
go with, and then we paired.
Yeah,
So on the
took
Fair
a
enough.
backboard,
while.
you have 2 complete brackets done that aren't here.
That aren't here.
Wow. I guess I mean, good on you for the subject matter. I suppose I don't know because I'm assuming that what came down to was the subject that you guys would rather have run with
That didn't
at
take
the
that
end of
long,
it.
I think. It
Yeah.
was easy to know what was in 3rd place, and then we tied for first and second of debating, and Crimson won me over
Then we
with
had
a
a
good
debate.
pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the
I mean, the winning
So
idea for you, writer, was that it's tailored to writing. And that's what won me over. That it'll focus more on writing of things,
all right.
which for me
Okay.
outbeat the other idea.
All right. Fair enough.
And there was also the risk with the other one that you wouldn't fully
That's true.
remember some stuff in it, and we didn't want like, oh, I don't remember that. The other one wins. That would
This one
be a
that we're
waste.
going to give to you definitely holds more memory, I
Yeah,
feel like.
you'll know everything on here. At
Yeah.
least.
Theoretically, I'll know
Hope
everything on
I
there.
mean I know you know everything. I don't remember how
We're
much
pretty
you
safe.
remember about everything.
That again,
That's
that's where lies the rub for me because
yes.
my brain is I'm very scatterbrained when it comes to my memory because I'm working on like 5 stories simultaneously all the time, so
Oh yeah.
that takes up a lot of brain space for me. My own writing, I mean. Um,
Crimson, is there
yeah.
anything else? I have one other thing to share that gave a reason for it to be longer.
Um, no, I don't think so.
Okay. The
Uh,
only other thing,
um,
or go ahead, writer.
yeah, I was gonna ask, do we want to all give our histories now, so that when we could just get right into the brackets, we stick with the brackets, or do you want to prelude each one with our history?
Probably do each one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll prelude each one.
Just
That's fine.
yeah, I'm just asking. All right.
Um,
Sorry,
yeah, to
Sphinx,
keep the
interrupted you.
focus on you for this is your bracket. The one thing that Crimson and I butted heads over a little.
We butted a few times
We butted a
on
few
some
times,
stuff.
but the main thing is there was an idea. I classified it as God power of a certain point of something that Crimson thought not the entirety of something because it could be ruined by its faults. He wanted specific areas of a docket. So something in the listing of 16. He's like, I want this one, but specifically this portion of that.
Let's say we give you a pepperoni pizza, but I don't care about your opinion on pepperoni, so I just ask you about cheese pizza.
Yeah.
But Sprinks wants to know about the
And
pepperoni
I
as
said,
well because it
no,
was
you
part
got
of
to
the
have the whole
pizza.
pepperoni pizza.
Okay, I can see. I'm picking up your metaphors here and putting stuff together. All
Yeah.
right.
I was saying you had to go with all of it, even though it's more cheese pizza than pepperoni pizza because
All
pepperoni is
right.
one ingredient.
Yeah.
I said full thing.
For example, so to demonstrate my understanding, I'm going to use get this movies. For example, I couldn't take a singular scene out of Lord of the Rings. I would have to take it for the whole package.
Yeah.
That's what Sprinks would want out of it. I didn't lean that way, but that was the headbutting we were dealing with.
Okay.
So
All right.
in this bracket for you, there is only one of the 16 that has that.
Has a caveat in
That
it,
has a
The
caveat.
caveat is a particular scene that
Somewhat.
or a
you.
particular element
Yeah.
to it is
Okay. Okay.
adjusted.
All right.
Just to give you a forefront on that. Okay. I think that's it, though.
All right.
Yeah.
There's another one, but I'll bring it up after the list, so there's actual
Okay.
context
I'm
for
like,
it.
there's another one, but we didn't go with that one.
Starts with
Like
a
that.
G. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
That's not ringing any bells. Or Crimson, if you'd like to pitch to Ryder what his bracket is.
The bracket for you, writer, is I don't want to screw it up because we bounce back and forth on the terminology. Uh, was it most favored
No,
romance? I believe it was
not
not
favored.
favored.
Not favored.
Combined,
Just
objective,
best. Yes.
subjective, best.
The entirety of all.
A sinister
Yes.
opinion
Subjective
of
and
a
objective.
romance.
Okay, so objective and subjective of romance. We're talking
Of two
char.
romances we've
Of
pinned against
couples.
each other.
Okay,
Yes.
of
Yes.
couples.
Couples.
So I would be taking their
What is
entire
the better
story or
couple?
in their movie.
That's the
Okay.
question. What is the
Okay.
better couple? I think that's what it is, which
Yeah.
encompasses all the objective of the two, the subjective of your liking of the two, all that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Exciting stuff.
Whenever you guys are ready, I'm on
Okay.
this
I
ride.
I will do verbal
Yes.
because I know Crimson's working on the visual side. So your first pairing, round one, you have
Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum.
Wesley and Buttercup from The Princess Bride versus William and Elizabeth from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Ooh, that's a
Right
good
at the
one.
gate.
I know it's a good one right at the gate. And I'm taking it from the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy as a whole, right? Would
Yes.
be
Sprinks
the
All
romances
wanted
overall.
all
all
five.
five. Sprinks
All
wanted
five
all
are
five.
included, which means the fifth movie counts.
Yeah.
Uh,
That is not the one with the caveat.
No.
that's not the only caveat. Okay.
No. You'll know which one has the
Even
caveat.
though I kind of fought for that, but I wasn't too hard on.
Hmm. Favorite objective and subjective romance. Let's see.
Which one
I
to you is the
think
better couple or better romance?
yeah, it's funny. I think uh it's fundamentally opposites in how this is going to work for me. I think I subjectively have a lot more nostalgia and attachment for Buttercup and Wesley, but to a certain point, I do think Will and Elizabeth have a very objectively strong relationship that has its moments of being on and off, but it builds up to a kind of a grand marriage during, a battle. Um, let's see. They
I guess disclaimer: we're a little late already. Spoilers for a bunch of stuff, even stuff we haven't covered on the
Oh,
podcast.
completely true.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna mince words
Across
here.
all brackets.
Yes.
Okay. Um, the Wesley and Buttercup is probably leaning more closer to timeless in the sense of they're iconic as a couple. Where I think uh, Elizabeth and Will Turner aren't as high up as far as that echelon of like memory is concerned in terms of like them being an iconic pairing. Um, I think what's funny going to sync Will and Elizabeth here is I think uh, the infighting that they have between each other, the unnecessary fluff that happens in between Dead Man's
Melodrama.
Chest and yeah, that happens between Dead Man's Chest and At World's End. Um, while the relationship still builds to ultimately something very beautiful, I think what sinks that for me is that unnecessary melodrama because there's a lot of infighting, and while they ultimately remain loyal to each other, they still fight for no reason a lot of the time. Had it just been, let's say, like Pirates of the Caribbean 1, I actually think this would be a little bit more of an even playing field. But including all of it, I'm going to go with Wesley and Buttercup.
Right. That was a surprise one right out the gate for me. I thought for sure pirates having more time with the characters might carry more weight.
The time with them is
But it
wonderful,
could
but
detract from that.
time it is not necessarily conducive to enjoyment, I suppose, because that's purely subjective. I think is what kind of sunk that for me. I think objectively they are both really excellent to a degree. Because even in the infighting, while I don't personally like it, I still think it's extremely well written for the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay. Round two, you have Bob and Helen Parr from The Incredibles versus Carl and Ellie from Up.
Ooh.
That includes Incredibles 2 as well.
I really fought for a caveat on this one, and Sprinks was not giving in.
Said you get
Um,
the whole couple, all that
yeah.
we've seen.
The first 8 minutes of Up is widely regarded as the one of the best condensed romances ever made, and I think rightfully so. This is back when Pixar was mostly at the top of their game. I can talk about the rest of the movie, and I don't think it's as good as those opening like 8 minutes, but it's very well highly regarded because of that, and it kind of deserves to be. I think because they pack a lot into those 8 minutes, and you definitely feel for that relationship and that romance as far as it goes. Um, in kind of the opposite of that, we fast forward for Helen, Parr, and Bob. We don't really get the development of their relationship. It's that they're together and then they're functioning as a couple, and we get to see them sort of bounce off each other in a way, and we get to see some of their pitfalls as well with regards to Incredibles one. Um, Incredibles two, they spend the majority of the film kind of doing opposites, where Bob is the one being the parent and Helen's the one being the hero. Um, hmm.
Carson, were you and I able to share thoughts and things while decision?
I mean, if you
It won't
want, if you have
affect it
something,
won't it won't affect my opinion. So
No,
well, as
okay.
I'm
I was
trying to
just
work
curious.
it down.
I was just
So
curious.
I mean, I
um,
have a guess of what Ryder's gonna pick, but I can't say it because that might influence.
I'm just going with
yeah,
saying 8 minutes and the rest of the movie for Up were kind of down. For the relationship between Carl and Ellie, yes, because Ellie, spoiler, dies. But for me, Carl's dedication of love is the entirety of the film, which is far more than Bob. That's for me.
yeah. Well, like I said, I'm focusing more on the couples, and hmm,
I just didn't want to go that after that,
yeah,
some time where then it's old Carl and Russell that it's gone.
yeah. Hmm, which one's better? Um, I think I enjoy Incredibles more. Um, I'm not sure I can say I can't really deny the achievement that Pixar managed to like accomplish with uh the 8 minutes of in the opening of Up. And it's been a while since I've seen that, so uh I won't deny that. I'll add the caveat for myself there. Um in terms of objectivity, funny enough it's gonna be opposite. It's gonna I think the 8 minutes of Up, I think that one would win for objectivity. I think subjectively, I much prefer Incredibles, uh, and their romance. Um,
Which one's progressing? Hmm,
yeah,
I mean, Bob does become a
I
stand-at-home dad.
careful, it sounds like you might be tipping the scales here,
I'll
Sprinks.
tip it either way. I pitch for Up. I'll pitch for Incredibles. I'm just saying,
I
second
thought this
movie
was
is included
competition.
as well.
yeah, I think despite the flaws, I might go with The Incredibles. And I think that what might put Bob and Helen on top is we get the family dynamic to go with them. We don't really get a family dynamic with Ellie and
Ooh,
uh,
good
like
Carl.
we don't really yeah we don't really get the family dynamic. We get a learning to sort of open up again. Um, but I think the family dynamic adds another aspect to the Bob and Helen romance that might, I think, edge out uh, Up's romance for me. And like I said, I do think the 8 minutes I think are is very objectively, it's objectively almost perfect. Those 8 minutes, that's really condensed. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bob and Helen.
Okay.
All right. I would have gotten that one right. Yeah.
On to the third. You have Jane and John Smith from Mr. and Mrs. Smith against Han and Leia from Star Wars.
And it's
Mm.
all uh, uh yes.
Original
You're
trilogy.
breaking up.
Or was it the
Oh,
Skywalker
Original
saga? I don't
trilogy,
remember
the
what it was.
sequel. Yes.
yeah. All right. Let's see. This one is an easy one. Um, I think,
Oh,
yeah, I don't have to think too hard about this one. I love Mr. and Mrs. Smith a lot. I do, but I get that dynamic elsewhere. Uh, and I can get that dynamic elsewhere because that's just what it's a great dynamic, but I can get it elsewhere. Han and Leia are very unique. In terms of on-screen romance, they're objectively a well-written romance, and in while I there is flaws to their romance that are introduced by the sequels, mostly the characters are intact by the time Disney decides to do away with them. Spoilers. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Han and Leia. Their banter is unrivaled. Their history of the two characters is unrivaled, and I think the important thing about them, or at least what I think sets Han and Leia above, is just how I kind of want to say it's almost the mundaneness of the romance because there's clearly they get romantic scenes together, but there's plenty of times where they're just yelling at each other. Not saying Mr. Smith doesn't have that sort of thing, but Mr. Smith is a dynamic that I can find in other places. Whereas I don't think I can easily replace Han and Leia in terms of what that has to offer.
All right.
yeah. I didn't think that one was going to be an easy one. I did expect the results.
The
Get
results were
going.
expected, but yeah, no, that one's kind of an easy one,
Um,
unfortunately. Yeah.
can I say the next one?
Sure. All right. Round four.
The next pairing, round four, is Blake and Yang from Ruby
Oh dear.
versus, oh dear indeed, Miyuki and Kaguya from Love is War.
uh, so this is a joke, right?
No.
What are you
uh,
talking about?
yeah,
It's
no.
whichever one you value more here.
Oh, it's very clear which one I value more here.
Oh wow, I thought this
Um,
was actually gonna be closer.
no,
Shoot,
I'll say
you,
Crimson pitched this
you,
one. So
I did.
you
I
vastly,
thought this was a hard one.
yeah, you vastly overestimated my love for Bumblebee.
See, I've learned.
My love for
Learned.
Bumblebee is purely subjective. I have no objective love for this. We've had conversations about this.
That's true.
Whereas in Love is War, Miyuki and Kaguya, they run away with it. It's a clear victory from the outset in this one. Miyuki and Kaguya have one of the greatest. That is spoilers for the rest of this list. That I consider to be the greatest romantic comedy I've ever seen of all time. Where Miyuki and Kaguya are from, and those two characters in their dynamic are largely the reason because of that. They have everything that you expected from a slow burn rivalry, almost kind of like enemies to lovers sort of romance. And while I love the idea of Bumblebee and concept from Ruby, I don't think it delivers on uh, anything we've seen from the show. Um, and so, yeah, I'm gonna go with Miyuki and Kaguya from Love Is War.
you got it.
Sorry, Springs. I let us astray on that one. I thought that was going to be a closer pairing.
I've seen like 2 episodes of Love is War, so I didn't know.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
great one.
That's fine. All right. Round
It's
5.
probably smart that we have some easy ones in here.
Yeah. Well, heck, I mean, easy to. I don't know. We made it.
That's
We're
true.
learning stuff.
Yeah,
That's the whole point of this.
Yeah,
that
that's the
that was
point, right?
Crimson's big thing. He wants to learn from you.
I've learned now. Bumblebee is less valued than I perceived.
All right, round 5. We have Maria and Baron von Trapp from The Sound of Music against Rick and Ilsa from Casablanca.
Ooh, nice. Very, very good. Good job. I applaud you, sirs. Okay. Um, I think what I love about Rick and uh, what I love about Casablanca's parent is uh, the the tension that is brought about between their dynamic. What I love about The Sound of Music is the growth of Von Trapp getting used to Mary in his life. Um, and they both have very similar settings, funny enough, about regarding World War II.
Hence
And
why they were paired.
yeah, and Europe's uh, testicularly challenged chancellor villainy. Uh, I think again, what might edge this out is the fact that Mari has relationships with all of Von Trapp's children. Um, I think in terms of the romance itself, uh, I think in terms of pure enjoyment, I think I'd prefer Sound of Music. Um, and for Casablanca not to kind of wash it away completely, uh, I love the dynamic the two characters have. I love their dynamic with others around them. Um, but I think Mary and Von Trapp will edge this one out. And it's not by a huge margin. This is a close one. Um,
You're throwing a curveball with these ones to the extent of involving like family. I didn't think that was going to be a factor.
You're
That's
learning
been an
something.
element twice.
well,
That's
I
good.
mean, family always plays into an element of romance. At least for me, it is.
So you said Sound of Music moves on.
Yes,
Yep.
Sound of Music does move on.
Just have to make sure I'm on track. Okay, round 6. You have Evelyn and Waymond from Everything Everywhere All at Once against Aragorn and Arwen
Ba-da-da-ba.
from Lord of the Rings.
I
All
have no
right.
idea if this is easy or hard.
Um,
I mean, Crimson, they were
well,
paired for a reason.
I'm gonna ask a clarifying question. Um,
Sure can.
which Evelyn and Waymond?
Great question. Crimson, I think
Well,
we
there's
said
one
all of them.
Evelyn, right? And
Yeah.
You're
Well,
throwing all of them in there?
main Evelyn's mind, because she travels throughout. But I think we said every Waymond interaction.
it was a tricky one.
Okay.
Uh,
Hmm. I don't know if that counts.
If it's
Waymond's
cheating,
core
then I guess
Waymond's
go with the original Waymond from the start.
yeah, the reason I'm asking is because Waymond's core character stays the same, but the
relationship
acting
between the two are different.
the relationship between the two are different, and also Waymond, while the core character is the same, there's still different um, accentuations of his personality. I think Waymond's relationship with Evelyn is very strong. They clearly are very much tied together in that um, it feels like the universe bound them together. Is kind of what the film gets across, and I do love my mystical like lovers aspect. So they are a very very strong contender in this bracket. Um, I think what makes their relationship very very powerful is obviously Waymond's monologues to Evelyn. He's able to kind of talk her down. He's able to. They know each other in and out so well, despite all the flaws in their relationship. And I mean, you get a line about taxes that you get a line that turns taxes into something romantic, which is if that is a romantic line, you did your job as a writer and a filmmaker. Um, and that has become one of the common phrases now about expressing your love in romance. That's obviously not as strong as You Wish from Princess Bride, but it's definitely up there. Um, I think gonna go talk about Arwen and Aragorn. This one, fun enough, I think functions very similarly to the Up romance, and it's a very as in their romance is very very condensed, and a lot of their what makes them work as a romantic couple is not necessarily in the screen time they share together, but rather the time they spend apart. Um, because the love for that they have for one another is subtle in this because of the time they spend apart. Um, and there's obviously lots of like interactions between them in the Fellowship, and then the ending when they meet again at the end of Return of the King. But in between all of that, you get prophetic visions, you get elf magic kind of connecting them, and you get the Palantir scene when Aragorn kind of takes back the control of it. So there is a lot to the romance, and it's very efficiently done. And I always praise this. One of the good changes that they made from Fellowship of the Ring, from the book to the film, is they added Arwen in as a character much earlier than she's introduced in the books in order to better show the relationship that they have on screen. And I think it was more important for the audience to know what Aragorn's relationship with Arwen is rather than meeting a one-off character that's in the books for escaping the Nazgul and Fellowship of the Ring. Um, all this to say, uh, I think my objective mind is saying uh, Evelyn and Waymond, but my subjective mind is shouting Arwen and Aragorn.
Which side is
Um,
winning?
yeah, I will say this: what might elevate Arwen and Aragorn is the fact that we had to discuss which Waymond. And I think the fact that that relationship changes or the dynamic changes within each romance, which is cool. It's presenting lots of options, but it's not really down to succinct pairing. Um, and if I'm going to pick the average Waymond, uh, the quote unquote, the normal Waymond
I
and
think
normal
that's the
Evelyn.
most fair. The one at the start of the
Yeah,
movie
Wayman
and the one at the end
Prime.
of the movie. That Waymond.
yeah. If I'm picking that one, the journey they go on is very beautiful. Um, but I think Arwen and Aragorn will edge that one out.
Okay.
Um,
Not surprised.
yeah.
Other Wings won.
Yeah, that was a good one though. That was a good one to pit those two against. I'm only making this bracket harder for myself. It's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Can I do the next one?
Sure. Is this the caveat one?
All right. This is the caveat one.
Okay.
But are you willing to change it if writer really wants to?
What do you mean change it?
The
Like all of
caveat?
it?
No, the caveat for that one.
I'm willing to change it if he wants to do all of it because you have a specific.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what we have here, brace yourself, writer. You're in for a doozy here. It's a really odd pair.
Okay.
John and Alice from Still Alice versus John 117 and Cortana from Halo 4.
Specifically Halo 4 only. Nothing before, nothing after.
This is it's not as odd as a pairing as you might think. As
Went
uh,
with the brain issues
yeah, we
between,
went with the,
and they're
the
both Johns.
degradation. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not as odd as you might think. They actually share a lot of dynamism. Um, I mean, subjective is an easy Halo. Um, and I think if we are including all of them, it's an easy win for Halo. Um, let's see. Still Alice has the benefit of, I think, showing both ends of the relationship. They show the downsides and they show the upsides. So they show the full romance. And I do like that because it's very rare when you get an on-screen romance when you get the full dynamic of what their relationship is like during bad times, what their relationship is like during good times. And I can think I could juxtapose this. You have them reminiscing at the beach house after they had the walk on the beach and they hung out and just observed the shore. You have this. You have the that night when they're just kind of comforting each other and reminiscing, versus the night where Alice uh, tells John that she's been going to see a doctor and he's trying to talk her down, and she freaks out and yells at him. So you get the full dynamism of that relationship in very short order, and so that's one of the benefits I think to that is you see what that relationship is like when it's under stress, and you also see what it's like at its best, which is very much in favor of Still Alice. You don't get much of that in uh, Cortana and John in Halo 4. And if you're including all the rest, there is definitely some ups and downs. But specifically for Halo 4, um, I think there is something worth noting at how far John is willing to go to show his protectiveness of Cortana. And I think a lot of that might boil down to him having been stoic very previously. This one's kind of slowly introducing that human element of his character, and Cortana is uh, the avenue in which that manifests. Um, but I think Halo's probably going to edge it out purely based off of subjective enjoyment. I enjoy that relationship dynamic more than I enjoy Still Alice, and I do view them as fairly objectively equivalent. So I think Halo's going to win out for that one.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I'll say I'm not surprised with
Yeah,
that. Being that you also were introduced to Still Alice fairly recently, and you have a vast history of Halo.
yeah. Like I said, that was there. Like I said, I think the objective equivalency is worth noting, but I do think the lots of nostalgia and subjective love for Master Chief, not the TV show, and Cortana in Halo 4 is going to be what pushes that over. It was I think that was going to come down to that from the get
Oh,
go.
for those confused, Halo 4, the video game, not Halo, the TV show episode 4, not some other iteration that
Yeah.
could be misinterpreted, just for clarification.
The fourth Halo book,
Fourth Halo book,
anything.
whatever may
Yeah,
have
there
the
are
video
tons
game.
of books. Yeah.
All right, and then the last round here, in the first beginning, to get all 16 on the table, you have George Bailey and Mary from It's a Wonderful Life against Nick and Brooke from Before We Go.
And silence fell as the brain.
Yeah.
I just gotta think
Yeah,
on
as the
this.
brain started processing. I think that well, I'll walk you through it. The first thought that came into my head is we see so much of George Bailey's life than we see of George and Mary, right? George and Mary's life than we did of
Nick and Brooke is
Nick and
one
Brooke.
night.
yeah, Nick and Brooke. And Nick and Brooke as a one night, and mind you, time doesn't necessarily play a factor in what makes good romance for me. Um, but I think overall, as much as I do like a lot of Nick and Brooke's dynamic, there's something about uh, I'm going to use your word here, Sprinks. There's something very real and raw about that relationship that makes it come across like just
It unsettled
two
you.
people who just yeah. There was a in the same way that Lost in Translation unsettled me. Um, there's a very real rawness to those relationships that is very hard to replicate. Um, because it feels too close to reality, and that is a point in its favor, I think. Um, in that I would struggle to kind of uh, rewatch that Well, I probably wouldn't struggle as much now to rewatch it because I've just talked about it so much. Um, and yeah, it's a good romance. And then going back to the other coin, being Mary and George Bailey, I
They
think a
got a
lot of
family.
yeah, they got a family. I think a lot of that also comes down to though we see George Bailey at his lowest and what his wife does to kind of get her out of it. Whereas in a way that's a little more meaningful for the two of them, I think, than Brooke and Nick, which is more of a getting to know each other one night stand. So the interesting thing is, it's a lot of before we go is them getting to know each other and growing closer, while George and Mary is more about an established relationship. Because they get together pretty early on and they just kind of maintain their relationship for the rest of the film.
That's true.
Um,
We do get to see both ends of both individuals in the couple all at a low point,
yeah,
and what the other one
One's a bit
does
more low
to
than the other, though.
true, but what the other one in the couple does to raise it or fix it.
yeah.
Mm.
Ugh. I think what might push before we go down is the argumentative. Well, not the argumentative nature of it. It was there's a lot of. I think we actually came to opposite conclusions, Springs. I think when we covered
Before we
uh,
go, like in
no,
the
no,
alley scene, right?
yeah, there's the alley scene, but I'm thinking more of the
There was the kiss. That was a big one.
yeah, yeah. We had a lot of arguments over the kiss, and I remember giving my 2 cents on that too. That was fun. Um, I think that we kind of like there's more movie moments. I think in before we go because it's a one night thing, so they have to like move it along um, more quickly. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think there's just more plain for me to see. In the same way that Big, when we covered Big, the uh, relationship where we had like the idea of the what was very real to you was a movie moment for us.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what I get from Before We Go, which pushes it, I think, a little down. And this is a close one because I think they're both very, very good relationships. But I think George and Mary are going to edge this one out.
all right. I didn't even make the connection when we made it Crimson that one of these is the entirety of someone's life and the pretty much, and the other one is one night.
Uh, I don't really consider it with this pair, but we did talk about how some relationships are going to be longer than others. In
Yeah.
broad, we did bring that up.
Also, I'm sure tons of audience members are clapping that you chose Wonderful Life, a world-renowned movie couple for years, versus a handful of people who even know Before We Go exists.
Yeah,
So I'm
and
sure a
don't get
lot
me
of people
wrong,
are happy about it.
and don't get me wrong, I'm happy to buck trends, but not in this one.
Hey, Hey, if Ryder thinks it's that close, maybe you should go watch Before We Go if you haven't.
I do recommend Before We Go. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It is a good movie.
Springs, which one would you have picked? Because
Out
you
of these
really
two,
liked Mary. Yeah, you really liked Mary, but
oh, they're
obviously you loved
really
Before We Go.
good. They're really good. I do like both. I think I'd go with Before We Go because of how real it is. I think it really gives me more of a genuine and sincere feel of what people would do in a situation rather than it gets me lost in that rather than the feel of like, oh, this was written by a writer for a script and a movie and stuff like that. I think I'd find Before
Okay.
We Go just more believable.
On to bracket 2,
Yeah, quarterfinals.
level 2.
Where it's now this is your cause writer
Oh,
from
I
going
I
on
know.
forth. So first
You
quarterfinal,
made this bed.
I did, and I will sleep in it.
you have Bob and Helen Parr from The Incredibles against Wesley and Buttercup, Princess Bride.
All right, this is
I
not
know
too
which
bad.
one I would pick. Yeah.
This one ain't too bad.
I know what I'm
Um,
choosing.
um, I know what I'm choosing too because I don't have to think about this one. Uh, I am going Wesley and Buttercup.
Hey!
Oh well, wrong with me.
Oh!
I would have picked Bob and Helen,
Like,
easy.
you're not a fantasy
Oh yeah,
guy.
no, this is an easy one. I didn't have to think too hard about it. And mind you, I won't give since I gave my lush history with the first bracket. I'll keep it short for the second one. Shorter. This is purely nostalgia. I love Pixar The Incredibles a lot. The relationship dynamic between Helen and Bob is great, but Incredibles 2 exists.
Yeah, I mean, I fought for removing that from this as an option.
I'm trying to think. Do you think Bob or Wesley has more dedication to the love? I think it would be Wesley.
I
Bob
do
has
think
kids now.
yeah. I
Bob does a lot.
I would yeah, I would go with Wesley based off of the limited screen time we get before the relationship happens. Because we kind of jump from flirty flirt in Incredibles to they have kids together now. They're a family, you know?
Yeah, it's a good
Bob was going to kill
jump ahead.
Mirage at the thought
He
of Helen
was,
and the kids dying.
Yes.
Uh, kind of
Very
shows
protective.
his thoughts towards them.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing.
but Wesley
Yeah.
did kill
Uh
Cassini.
Oh
um
yeah, he doesn't like.
but I think this one is based purely on nostalgia factor. I think they got a lot of good objectivity to both of them. But
Wesley's also a killer. He's a
Yeah,
pirate.
uh
Bob is not a killer. So
Bob's
one,
killing
not
people.
intentionally a killer. He's
yeah, okay,
definitely
I've
killed
got to put
people.
that asterisk there.
He's definitely killed people. He just hasn't done it intentionally.
Manslaughter, all right, different than murder.
All right,
Cool motive, still murder.
Princess Bride moving on. Next one, which I think is a toughie of what you've done. You have Miyuki and Kaguya from Love is War. Sorry if I butchered that. Against Han and Leia from Star Wars.
I'm excited for the outcome.
All right, gotta stretch for this one.
This
Okay,
is just this isn't even the semifinals. This
I
is
know. This is
Quarterfinals.
mm, answer me my sinking ship. Let's see. What? You know what? Funny enough, I'm kind of in a weird way. These two ending up beside one another, I think actually is very good. They share a lot of the banter and rivalry between both pairings. Han and Leia are very well known for just kind of digging into each other in Empire. Just they're yelling at each other a lot of time. They have their arguments, their rivalries, but ultimately they Han is trying to get Leia to confess her love for him, and if that doesn't sound familiar to you, Love is War fans, and the same would go for Leia. She does try to get Han to confess to her as well. That's kind of they have very fun and very similar dynamics. Um, the difference here, the,
sequels.
the difference here is the sequels. Yeah. Um, and what Leia and Han offer me is I get from Kaguya and Miyuki in spades in terms of what I like from a romance. Um, so I'm gonna go with Love is War. This is gonna be controversial to all those Star Wars fans out there.
Also, Sprinks' limited knowledge to Love is War was that a surprise pick?
I think it is. Because, I mean, Love is War, I don't know, but the
Mhm.
OT Star Wars of Han and Leia, I thought would be big contender.
It is. It's just against the behemoth. This is not an easy choice for me. I obviously made this only harder for myself. I think the almost strangely enough, the kind of saving grace for Han and Leia, and a reason that I would have why it would be higher is the peculiarities of their relationship, like where they end up, like them bantering in a giant asteroid worm pit, or them Jabba's palace when they reunite, and obviously an Endor when it's capped off. But obviously, I think what lowers his romance for me is the damage the sequels did to both, at least Han's character. I think Leia is mostly intact for the sequels, but I think the damage they did to Han, and therefore the relationship by extension, can't really ignore that. So, Love is War is my pick.
All right. Next round, you have Maria and Baron von Trapp, Sound of Music, against Aragorn and Arwen, Lord of the Rings.
Kind of swinging, aren't we? Um, hmm. I think Lord of the Rings would win on pure nostalgia and subjectivity, but I think Mary and Von Trapp have the objective edge here. And I do think the romance for Aragorn and Arwen is very objectively well written, especially for the condensed time it is with regards to the trilogy it's a part of. Um, hmm. It might be the combination of objective and subjective that might push that up, but this is a close one. I wasn't the biggest fan of uh, Sound of Music growing up. It's very much a film I grew to love when I got old as I got older. Um, we're going based off the romantic couples, objectively and subjectively.
Or I
Um,
guess also the big pitch is like which one's written better.
I think
yeah,
that fall under objective,
Yeah.
yeah,
and then writer loves objective. Then it
yeah.
bounces back and forth
Yeah.
in an
Which one
infinite
has more
loop.
character damaging? Which one has more world building, enticing, and it's
Which one kisses more?
I'm pretty sure actually Aragorn and Arwen kiss more. Funny enough. Um,
Franks, I imagine you have
I
one of these picked for him already.
oh yeah, what I think it is. It's a very good fight though.
it's good. It's a good fight. Um, and I think the unique dynamic. I think Aragorn and Arwen are going to win, and the reason for it, as again, I think it's going to come down to how well the romance is portrayed in their time apart from one
Okay.
So Maria and Von Trapp is gone.
another. Yep.
Man, I was so excited. We were so close to not having Star Wars or Lord of the Rings in the semifinals. That's crazy. That was so
Baffled you?
close. Unexpected. That would have been shocking. I think you would have probably been shocked by that
I
too.
would have been shocked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it just how much knowledge I don't have on Love is War is what outwon
Mhm.
the Star Wars.
Like I
So,
said, it's my choice for favorite romantic
oh,
comedy.
of
So
course, of course. It's just like I can't be like, oh no, or like wow. It's like I Love is War. I'm blind on. I don't know. So all right. Then on to the last quarterfinal. You have John and Cortana, Halo 4, against George Bailey and Mary. It's a Wonderful Life.
Pretty different relationships here.
yeah, this one's they're very different. Um, John and Halo, John and Cortana is very much about a. It has more of a star-crossed lovers feel, given the Cortana slowly decaying away, and then you have George Bailey and Mary, which I kind of already went to the dynamic and why I think they're a really good couple. Um, shoot, going based off purely nostalgia, I'm gonna go with Cortana and John.
All right. I know
Wow.
that got
I
that
didn't know
that's made a
which
lot
way
of
this was
people angry,
going.
but
I didn't know which
Yeah.
way this was going.
Look,
Ooh.
hey, look, yeah. The reason is purely nostalgia. I have a lot more memories attached to Halo and John and Cortana than I do George Bailey and Mary because I've only seen the movie twice. Once for the podcast, and I think I've seen it before then. Uh, and yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. Purely nostalgia, subjective reasons. I
Too
enjoy
lost.
John and Cortana more.
all right. That brings us to the semifinal.
Yeah,
Uh,
crazy. It's only taken a while. I've learned a lot though, which is my objective with what we ended up picking. I'm happy about that. Did you learn stuff, Sprinks, so far?
I learned I should watch Love Is War.
Hey, if you want to, I'm willing to watch it with you. But we got some other stuff on our list.
Yeah. It might be a pod pick. I don't know.
Please finish Scott Pilgrim versus the World first. I really need someone to talk to about that. All right, what's up first here, boys?
You have The Princess Bride, Buttercup and Wesley against. Oh, is it? Yeah. Against.
Yeah, versus Miyuki and Kaguya
Yes.
from Love Is War.
Oh man, this is. I think Miyuki and Kaguya are objectively better written, but subjectively, I have so much more nostalgia for Princess Bride.
Oh,
Um,
that's interesting.
yeah, I think that again again it's the dynamic that's emulated between the. I'll focus on what makes them similar, at least in part. Uh, when Wesley's wearing the mask and is antagonistic towards Buttercup, that is very much kind of reminiscent of what Love Is War does offer to me as a fan of that show. Mm. But I think I can rest in confidence and say I think as time passes, I will continue to enjoy Love Is More more. So I'm gonna pick Love Is War.
Oh,
Oh boy.
wow.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I love Wesley and Buttercup and the Princess Bride. That one is a rough one. For
I honestly didn't think you cared that much. I didn't think they would make it to the semifinals.
Love Is War.
Wesley, no, Wesley and Buttercup.
Oh, they're
I'm surprised
huge.
that I didn't realize with Ryder that they had that much
I mean,
impact.
outside of the romance, I have a lot of. This was my favorite movie. Once upon a time, this is what I watched when my mom was sick of me playing Lord of the Rings on repeat. She made me watch The Princess Bride. So that's what's attached to it.
He's been raised by this love.
Yes, pretty much. I was raised on that romance.
And it came in fourth place. So, all right.
Well, tied for third,
Sure. Tied
Arguably
for
technically.
third.
third.
You can do that.
Okay,
Tied for third.
arguably third.
All right. Next, which I think is a heavy handed one. You have John and
Yeah, this
Cortana,
one's an interesting
Halo
one.
4, Aragorn and Arwen, Lord of the Rings
Halo versus Lord of the
for the
Rings.
semifinals.
Sci-fi versus fantasy.
Hmm.
um,
Man, I've seen a bit of Lord of the Rings, and I just don't remember much of their interactions.
well,
Aragorn and
that's the
Arwen.
thing. What makes their romance very strong is this almost the subtlety of it because they spend so much time apart, yet they're both
It's
fighting for each other
it's a
in that own
lot
way.
of sacrifice on both
Yeah,
ends.
yeah. That's what kind of the driving force behind their romance is what they're both willing to give up for one another and what they're both willing to do for one another.
They're the
Um,
real if you love it, let it go kind of thing. But
what makes John and Cortana's relationship very interesting in Halo 4 I'm gonna focus on I guess one of my favorite scenes from Halo 4 is when Cortana snaps on the Bridge of the Infinity, and Captain Del Rio uh, wants to prepare for dispensation and pretty much shut her down.
Surrender
I
your AI.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that John stands up for her. It's very in character for him, and his humanity is coming out. It's one of my pivotively favorite scenes.
Great Lasky scene too.
Yeah, good Lasky scene because Lasky's obviously being built up as the person who's going to replace Del Rio. I think that's what they spent a fair bit of the movie doing, a fair bit of the game doing. And granted, Del Rio definitely serves a purpose. I don't think his character is particularly
He's
complex.
pretty one note.
Yeah, pretty definitely a one note character. And I'll focus on I think my one of my favorite scenes between Arwen and Aragorn, and it's going to be in the Fellowship. The encouragement Arwen gives to Aragorn, because Aragorn, part of his journey is it's funny enough, complete opposite of what's in the books. In the books, Aragorn is very much a man set on his path. In the movies, he's very much a man full of doubt. And one of the prevailing reasons he overcomes that doubt is Arwen. He Arwen is one of the reasons he feels like he could overcome the temptations of things that are present itself to him. So I think we're going to go Arwen and Aragorn. I'm really gonna kill myself on this last one.
Got it. I played John and Cortana. Oh,
Yeah, that's.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised how far John and Cortana made it?
I
I'm
was a little
not.
worried limiting it to 4, but I did. I really like their relationship in 4, so I had a feeling you'd
They,
probably like it similarly to me.
yeah. Alright.
I am
I guess
not to be mean. I am glad they're out though, because
Well,
I'd have.
now
why?
now that we made it this far, this was one of our arguments.
Yeah,
Uh, Franks was rooting or rallying for no video game inclusion.
no video game or book.
Uh, yeah, no
I
book
didn't want
note.
something not of a vein of media we've covered on the pod.
So you want to stick purely to movies and shows?
Yes.
Fair enough.
And I
Uh,
felt like it did injustice to the game's characters by just brushing them aside for that. Well, I
they
was glad
were
I got them at least one in there.
Yeah, I will say they were a good inclusion. They are worthy enough to be here because while they wouldn't typically be called romance, I think they still have a very very strong relationship that borders on romance. And if I were to include the other games proceeding for, I think it is one of the very much one of the strong couples on this list.
It's the third.
This brings us to the final. Love is War against Lord of the Rings.
One. And it really comes down to a Sprinks pick and a Crimson pick.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I assumed that I assumed Crimson that your choice was to add Love Is War and Springs was for Lord of the Rings because I neither of you have
That's true.
much
He
experience with
doesn't
the
know what
other.
it is, and I don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah.
So no,
It's
it's
pretty obvious
very
who picked what here.
yeah, it's very obvious for me. Um, so these two are complete opposites in terms of relationships. Um, like they're two sides, I guess, of what I would want on a romance coin. So very much this is may as well be a coin toss for me. And the reason for that is very simple. I've specified that Aragorn and Arwen's relationship is very much defined by their time apart, which is the exact opposite for Kaguya and Miyuki, who see each other every day. Um, So you get a lot of the mundaneness of that can occur in romance. And I mean this as a compliment. I love romanticizing the mundane. Romanticizing the mundane is like one of my favorite tropes in writing. And I think it's one of the strongest things you can do because just romanticizing one of the most normal things you can do. Being like sitting together watching a movie, be it uh, cooking together, cooking for one another, that sort of thing. Romanticizing the mundane, everyday things that can happen. Love is War doesn't have a lot of it, but it's very much present because they see each other every day. There is an element of where they cook each other food. There's an element of them preparing projects together for one another, just doing like mundane daily tasks together. They clean the room together. Um,
It,
and
then
obviously,
there's the
you don't.
buildups between school seasons, right? When they're away
Um,
from each other.
yeah, you do
All that.
get some elements of them being apart as well. But again, the focus of the show is very much in their time together. But there is definitely the apart the hardness grows fonder. With Lord of the Rings, it's again they're very much defined by the time apart, and it is a wonderful and beautiful romance that I do have. What I think edges Love and War above Lord of the Rings is the fact that it's a more complete romance. And what I mean by that is, strictly speaking, the as Crimson said, we do get what time apart is like for them. And we don't really get a romanticization of the mundane with Arwen and Aragorn. And they do have a very, very beautiful romance apart. But I think that's what ultimately is going to put Love is War at top.
My jaw is on the floor. Wow.
It is a surprise.
For both
Lord
of
of the
you?
Rings and Star Wars.
Well,
I mean, I knew Love is War was a very strong contender. I knew there was a chance,
I had Lord
but
of the Rings as
there
my
were some
bet
heavy
of
hitters here.
the win. I told Crimson when we paired everything, I said, "Who do you think is going to be the one?" I don't remember his answer, but I said Lord of the Rings. I think is going to be number one.
What was your answer out of curiosity?
I don't remember either.
I think you said
Well,
Halo.
that's a
Um,
shame.
I could. Would I have picked Halo over Love is War? I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah,
But
and that's it. Yeah, it's a very, very hard one for me there at the end. But I do feel more completed and satisfied with Miyuki and Kaguya. I'm not saying Aragorn and Arwen's obviously isn't beautiful, but I think if I were to just compare them strictly on the romance, eh, Kaguya and Miyuki are very hard to beat because, like I said, they romanticize the mundane. We get their time apart too, and those are we don't get much time together for Aragorn and Arwen, and obviously we don't really get much more romanticization for the mundane because that script needed to be very efficient. You know,
All
uh,
right. Well, yeah, a bit shocked, but hey, that this is what writers believed out of these options. That's number one.
yep. And I'm sure when my mother listens back to this, I am going to get yelled at, and I get to have
Yeah.
arguments about things I love. Funny enough,
You've
so I'm looking.
made all listeners probably yell at some things.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm here for controversy. I am putting my foot down.
I
I'm gonna
will
die on this hill,
I
and
will
it will be
say
worth
what I
every
have
second of
learned.
it.
What I've learned is you might want to take a rewatch of Up because what you said of time apart with Aragorn connected to me of what Carl does without Ellie.
No, no, no.
the,
That was
the
definitely very much
difference is it's
there.
half a relationship, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no,
So like,
because
it's more
Aragorn
of
believes
a
to be with Arwen, that's killing her essentially. She does not get immortality, so that
yeah.
choice is out
So
for him. Ellie's already dead, so both are
yeah,
seen as a death.
yeah. The mourning aspect of Up's romance, I think is I don't necessarily consider that a part of the romance. It's definitely a factor because I mourning the lost loved one is definitely something, but obviously Aragorn and Arwen are going to have their time together. Theoretically, if they win the war.
Yeah.
Giving spoilers light for Crimson whenever I tie him to a chair, tie him and bring him to a German dungeon, and make him watch all extended versions of Lord of the Rings in one sitting.
That's crazy. It has to be a German dungeon. Why isn't it?
Extended.
Yes.
Yes. I put my
This
foot
is
down
not
on
up
that
for
one.
this is not up for
Yes.
debate, Crimson.
There are very few, only one comes to mind, where I pitch for the theatrical version is the standout. But Lord of the Rings, extended.
Yeah. Funny enough, I have only one as well where I'd pick the theatrical version over the extended. And
Oh,
that
what
would be
would yours
Kingdom of
be?
Heaven.
Oh, mine would be E.T.
Yeah, Kingdom of Heaven, theatrical version,
Is it just for the
much
radio
better
or the
extended version.
guns?
No, there's a whole bit where E.T. takes a bath and the CGI is all changed and not needed. And there's little tidbits here and there, but yeah, the radio thing is my number one ideal to see the change. But the theatrical to me stands out way better, paced way better.
All right.
Well, next is for Crimson.
Yes. Can I pitch this one to you, Crimson? If you're okay
I feel
with
like
that,
you're asking
Sphinx?
me. Yeah,
I
sure.
was like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Whatever
sorry.
you guys
Can
decide
I
on,
pitch this one,
Sure.
Springs?
Crimson, I can tell you, it took
Um,
us 2 hours.
Yeah, we're
Way shorter.
yeah, way shorter. We had 8 ideas. What we did
9.
is we had 9. We
You
had 9
came-
ideas. What we did is
You came with 2. I had 7.
yeah, I developed on the third one while we were there, and then we actually went with none of the ones that we came. We came up with one on the spot that we ended up running with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The one on the spot is what we went with.
Yeah, the one that we came on the spot is the one that we went with, and this is gonna be an interesting one. We have movie posters for you, and we're gonna dig
your
into
art is graphic design.
yes, and we're gonna dig into you a little bit about your artistic aesthetic.
Because we don't see or hear much of that on the pod.
I'm a fraud.
We don't
okay?
hear or see much of that on the
I'm
pod.
not
So
an
yours
artist.
is the
Whatever I
artwork
went to
of the
college.
poster.
Don't worry, there's gonna be a little
Red is
discomfort for
red.
everybody at some point in this
Don't
podcast.
you dare say red is red. Bullshit. No. You don't get to do that.
Red, blue, and yellow are primary.
Oh my gosh, you graduated kindergarten. I'm so proud of you, Crimson.
But yes, also we do have, I think also Crimson. It's not to the extent Crimson you and I have for writer, but we do have brackets of other ideas on the shelves for you that we did not go with. I think
Yeah, we have
others?
3 saved
Interesting.
ideas.
This was the
ultimately.
winner.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
it's much
I'm
like
also,
what we did for writer of being a writing focus of art. This one's focused on your art form.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Alright.
don't worry. There's just gonna be discomfort for everybody at some point in this.
I'm
this
going to need
podcast.
Images of these posters as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, don't you? That's what
You
I'm
can't
doing
do it
for
from
you.
memory.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing because there's specific posters that we're pitting against each
Yes,
other.
I
as it
kept
were.
tripping over one of them. Writer and I really one of them we got stuck on because they're both iconic, and there's 2 renditions of one of them.
Yes, and one of them did win out at least a little bit, if I recall.
Yes, I pitched it to you because you said, "Oh, choose this one." I'm like, "These are both high up there, iconic. Which one are you talking about?" Because when we were discussing it of the posters, we never shared with each other what posters we were talking about. It was
Yeah,
like
which
what
is
was in my head and what was
which
in his
ended up
head.
being the second half of the conversation is figuring out which posters
Yeah.
we're going
So
to
then
use.
I took all the images of the posters and sent to him and like, "Are these all the ones you're thinking of?" But one of them stood out of like, we need to decide which of these 2 because it's big.
Yeah.
And we
So-
also stuck with the 8 from the pod, 8 from anything.
Yes, we did manage to do that. It was difficult towards the end for sure. But yes, though I will probably have follow-up questions for you, Crimson, as to why you picked something. Because I'm gonna make this rough for you. I want answers.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be the good cop. I'll be like, good pick.
Question. The 8 out of the pod, are they 8 things I've seen or not? it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter what a visual aesthetic of a poster, but
Riverdale's not on this
Uh,
list.
yeah. Uh,
I
and
think
so yeah,
the 8 you were a part of.
and like I said, it's mostly going to be. I don't know if you've seen a couple of these movies, but again, it's going to be mostly the artistic aesthetic of the movie
Yes,
poster.
yeah.
whatever
We're
you
pitting
deem to
them
be
against each
best,
other.
and this is a what is the best one
Yeah.
bracket. So
All right. Well, since I pitched the idea, Springs, do you want to start us off?
sure, round 1, Crimson is uh, hang on, I gotta get it.
Mm,
Round 1 is the Shawshank Redemption against
in the rain.
Rocky.
Okay. You would be right, Ryder. There's a movie here I have not seen, being Rocky.
You
Okay.
could also probably guess why we paired some of these together.
Yeah. Open arms. Some sense of victory, I imagine, with Rocky, having not seen it.
That's the famous training montage
Yeah,
actually from the film.
Yeah, the
finished his training
dun, dun, dun,
at
dun,
the
dun,
Lincoln
running up the
Memorial, I think.
stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the parameters of this exactly?
The
Uh,
Which one do you think is
what?
best? Which one do you like more? Which one do you think encompasses the movie?
So
Which
it's
one
the
do you think
combo
is
thing like Ryder
yeah,
had.
which one do you think
Yeah.
hooks an audience into more to
Which
watch it?
one's? Yeah. Which one's like an objectively better art piece to you?
Okay. I'm okay.
Do you like more of the writing, the tagline, the character usage, the light, like all of it?
Well,
The
Springs, you kind
lighting.
of said how audiences would fit. Am I picking which one I think audiences like more, or
You,
which one I like?
you.
No,
Okay.
I think we should. I think we should keep it
This is you.
restricted to Crimson.
If you saw these two movies and you've never seen them before, which one would you rather watch? Which
Okay.
one intrigues you more?
That's a good way of phrasing it. Um,
What's the text on the poster? Is it too much or is it too little? That sort
Yeah,
of thing.
you
Just
get to weigh it
objectively
all.
as an art piece,
And we
what's
tried to
better
find
for you?
multiple variable pieces to that so it doesn't feel the same.
compositions,
Yeah.
colors, all that. Yeah, yeah. Well, this one is easy for me, being Shawshank. Uh, there's some subjective feeling in there, as you guys said, that is on the table. But if I was completely isolated of these two, having not seen either of them, Rockies just doesn't look interesting. It almost looks like old black and white docu series or something. Um, and there's just nothing that really pulls me in with anything. It doesn't have the actor's face. I'd have to read the credits, which uh, I don't do typically. Uh, a negative for Shawshank, the font. I've never really cared for the font, and that would kind of detract visually for me. Because something with graphic design, when picking a font, is you kind of want something you can read from afar. And Shawshank isn't that. Um, and not that that would weigh heavily from my enjoyment of it, but
But Rocky
I
pops.
like the angle he's looking. I like the light hitting him. You can tell he has a big thing going on, and it's kind of interesting. What is the big thing with Rocky? The fist in the air could mean so much. uh, he just had an awesome party. He just beat up a bully. Who knows what happens here? I don't know. Uh, so Shawshank wins this one for me.
Yeah. Uh, and so obviously is it the
Interesting.
coloring that also helps draw you in? I'm guessing.
With this comparison, it is more visually appealing with this color, but I wouldn't just outright ignore a black and white poster. It'd have to be visually
Doesn't
interesting
like
as
too
well.
much writing. Interesting. That automatically tells me one that's not going to win.
Did I say too much right? Well, I mean, like credits. I don't read credits. I don't care about credits.
But one that has like actors and credits and tagline, like a lot of writing on it. Is it too distracting? Too much
It would be a
homework
case by
ish?
case.
Okay.
I'd have to look at it.
Okay.
If it distracts from the overall image and they care more about the cast than the actual movie, that would probably be annoying.
Okay, Shawshank moves on. Round 2, Crimson. You
Okay.
have Halloween versus 12 Angry
That
Men.
one's iconic. Um, this is an interesting one. One is far more iconic in terms of a visual for a poster than the other. 12 Angry Men kind of has like two big posters. You got this one and then the one that's kind of a clock type of aesthetic to it,
Mhm.
which I think I like the clock one more, a bit more creative. Uh, but for this one, I would be picking Halloween. I It catches the eye a lot. And not that I'm really into horror films. And did you guys make this comparison because it's knife and knife? Is
Maybe.
was that an aspect?
I'm sure it was
Kind of,
part of
yes.
it.
That's part of it, but also
I
in the
could
fact
totally
that
hear
they're
Spring saying knife, knife. There's a
yeah,
parallel.
there's definitely that, but another reason we did this is because they're almost complete opposites, which is kind of one of the reasons I was batting for this comparison. One of them is very like a knife in a kind of isolated black background, while the other one has a lot more going on, but still the knife is still like the centerpiece of the poster.
Yes,
You know,
both have an item where it looks like the poster's working around that one item.
And if we're going with the idea that I haven't seen either of these, I'm going completely visual here. Halloween, I can kind of tell what type of movie it is. 12 Angry Men, the poster doesn't really say anything other than there's 12 Angry Men. Halloween, some sort of murderer, slasher, horror film.
Gonna be
That tells
honest,
me a lot
reading
more
reading
than
12
what
Angry
12
Men
Angry Men means.
without knowing nothing, that sounds like a horror movie on its own. Life is in their
Not
hands,
with the
death is
visual,
on their
though.
minds.
Look at the people in this. This is not scary. This is.
I
You can't
feel
even
like
really tell it's a thought provoking movie
Juror
from
8
the
at the
off of
bottom
this.
looks like he's the one who's gonna is on the death line. Like he's on the death row.
The most interesting part of the poster is the tagline: "Life is in their hands, death is on their minds."
It explodes
That
like
is a
12
good
sticks of
tagline.
dynamite.
Well, and that's dated.
that's just funny.
Yeah. But the
But so
tagline's the
our
best part of the 12 Angry Men poster, for sure.
And Halloween,
Um,
the night he came home.
yeah, that's pretty generic, not too creative. Kind of just goes with the horror aesthetic. So
so
Halloween
for
for
you,
me.
you're really going for yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I think it has
Can
more
I?
going for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Mind if I introduce the next one, Springs?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay, your next pairing. Uh, ha. Okay, sorry about that.
Mhm.
Your next pairing is Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Jurassic
Ooh.
Park.
Oh, which Jurassic Park one? All right, classic. Just
The
the
first one.
emblem, the logo.
And I can give you a little bit of reason as to why we went with these two being paired against each other.
Because they're
Uh,
both things I like.
Funny enough, yes, but also because they're also both again simplistic with their design and opposites in that regard. One shows characters, gives you a sense of who they are, and the other one is just the emblem.
One's like Halloween that you just went over, but the other one focuses a little more on negative space.
If you want me to break down design, both these
Yeah, I'm
posters
just going.
could
It is your
do some
call.
Yeah,
things
hey,
here.
yes,
So
exactly, yes. Breakdown design.
Ryder wanted me to break down stuff. So
But
we
Jurassic
got
Park almost has a
Jurassic Park.
third of credits.
It is iconic. Um, the use of red here, because the later movies do change the color of the logo just to differentiate between the movies. But the first one here with a red, bright red dot in the middle automatically draws your eye to the center being a dinosaur. You probably see the dinosaur before you read the title of this. Uh, Already tells you an idea of what you're going into. Then you read the title. You got Jurassic Park. You know what Jurassic means. Doubles down on dinosaurs and park. You can infer a dinosaur park. Cool. The red and black kind of foreboding could be something scary. Could just be a cool visual aesthetic. It's good. The an adventure, 65 million years in the making. Eh, I don't think that's too much of a draw as a tagline, but it is distinct to the movie. For Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's the composition. of the poster with the characters here because the way they are both bending their legs, you want to work with lines and how things point. And looking at the angles here, it draws you to the title, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Tells you what the entire movie is about. It's about these two people. Clearly, you can see that they got guns, probably some secret agents. So there's not much more to this poster. If you're into action films, maybe it's for you.
Or the
I
bullet
just noticed the
holes
bullet holes
appeared.
Yeah,
as the dots. That's actually pretty
yeah,
cool. Now that I'm
yeah.
looking at it like an art piece.
But no tagline.
No,
I think
at
Brad
least
Pitt
not
and
on this
Angelina
poster.
Jolie are the tagline.
That's true. The faces. Um, which one I think is a better poster?
Well, I
One
guess
is more
that's
iconic.
a good a point, writer. That it's also is it drawing an audience from the big name actors? Like, is the face drawing in a crowd?
That's what that's doing. Yeah, that one's certainly what that is for. So this is like Brad Pitt height, Angelina Jolie height, big name, big draws. But if I was going purely visually off of
You're going off of
posters,
everything.
yeah, it's, hmm, this is a hard one because subjectively I like both. I like action films. I like dinosaurs.
Give a high five to Springs.
Finally, a challenge. These first two were nothing. Um, hmm. I'll go with Jurassic Park.
All right. So
Why?
what edges
I
out
think it
Jurassic Park
conveys
for you?
more.
Yeah.
It conveys more. I personally, that's a childhood film for me, and it's going to be more leaning towards the subjective because I think objectively, in terms of how they post the posters, they both do their jobs.
So, are you also saying by subjective you'd rather have a Jurassic Park poster than a Mr. and Mrs. Smith poster? Like, personally, to have?
um, no, I wouldn't say that necessarily.
Okay.
I I would be fine with getting either. I don't think I'd hold one over the other if I wanted one.
Fair enough. Shall I move along to the next one?
Yeah, if you like.
Actually, let's go back to Halloween.
No.
Yeah, let's go back.
Alright, alright. This next one, ended up this was an interesting one. Belle, from the
Mhm.
podcast, and classic Star Wars.
This Star
New
Wars is
Hope.
the one we had a problem with on which
Okay.
poster?
Yeah. Yeah, there was
There's
a
a lot of
couple iconic
variants.
Yeah,
ones.
it was either
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
one or the one where Luke is like shooting forward at an angle.
yeah. hmm
We chose this one.
why not the Family Guy variant?
Nope.
Did you ever consider
That's
that?
that's Blue Harvest. That's a completely different thing.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. I see kind of the thought process of a menacing figure in the back. Uh,
Yeah, and then
yeah,
also, another reason we did is because both are kind of showing off the world important to the story as well.
yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think. Not knowing Bell, does this poster convey that it's in a digital landscape all the way through? And I don't know if it does. With context, it obviously does. But if I was just a stranger, would I think it's a virtual world? I don't think I would.
When you pick up, those are pixels.
Yes, you could pick that up, but it doesn't mean virtual world. She could just be a gamer playing video games or something. It could be like the movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp. Um, I'm pretty sure he's pixelated on the cover, but that's just him body swapping in the movie, so it's not necessarily indicative of what's happening. Star Wars poster is quite iconic. Um, it's not centralized. It's off-centered, rule of thirds. Standard composition stuff there. It's I don't know. I don't really get much of a pull from Star Wars personally, and the white border is kind of bland. It doesn't really do it for me. I'm leaning more towards Bell, and I'm sure you're going to have some probing questions.
I do, and mind you, I think it was ultimately my decision to kind of pair these two together. I don't want to discount Sprinks necessarily because we did have a lot of back and forth, but definitely I don't want to take full credit for the pairing. But I think this one was when we ended up like strongly agreeing on. Um,
I think so. I'll
yeah,
go
I
with
think
that.
so. Yeah.
They had
Uh,
similarities, but also differences.
yeah. So yeah, follow up questions. So you pointed out the menacing figure in the background with respect to both the kind of uh, kind of showing off the world. So what detracts from this? Like, what's elevating Bell above Star Wars for you here? Is it just the white border? Is it, or is it other things
Is
that
it
are
the
contributing to that?
symmetry?
Uh, that it's a good thing to bring up. Sprinks. Some Crimson lore from back in school days. My art teacher always brought up to me that I need to stop working symmetrically. I always centralized my work, and I kind of still do to this day. I find it more visually appealing, uh, in a broad strokes. That's the way. There's always outliers. So that could probably be an aspect for Bell. The muted tones for just for Star Wars is not grabbing anything. It's very muted. And it doesn't scream
Very 77.
Yeah.
action. They had colors in '77 for posters. Okay,
There's colors in that poster.
They didn't have to do
Not
black and
vibrant.
brown and white. um, they have colored lightsabers in there, and they went with a white beam of light here. They could have had the Death Star with green beams. They had options if they wanted to make it more vibrant,
Right.
kind of
I
like
feel
the
like we
modern
should have
Star
gone
Wars
with the other
posters.
poster.
Yeah. So yeah, there's Star Wars doesn't. It's not really selling itself, I think, here.
All right.
Uh,
So uh, Bell moves on then,
yeah.
I guess, right?
My question for this is
Mhm.
the Star Wars one. How do you feel about the title given in the Star Wars poster?
That it's shrunken in the
It's very
corner.
shrunk in the corner.
Well,
Do you think that helps
obviously, I
give
mean,
more to
when
the
you do something
visual?
like that for a poster, you think the image itself, if it's the focus, which in this one it is, the image is the focus, not the title. You think you have a strong image to sell to an audience. For me, this doesn't. I'm out of time, I guess, but this doesn't really grab me.
Yeah. And I guess one last thing about the Star Wars poster, it actually has a tagline, whereas Bell doesn't.
Yeah, long time. Going back far, far away.
All right. Hey,
Yeah,
that's cool. I'm sure you made a lot of people mad with that decision.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he
yeah.
did.
Well,
It's okay. I made a lot of people mad with mine.
All
uh,
right. Next on the docket.
I mean, if they want me to, if you really want me to get the man, I'd say the vacation movies have a better poster
Oh,
based off the
okay.
woman character around the male figure.
ooh, scathing.
Next on the docket, you have Evil Dead or The Evil Dead against Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction.
Well, and you're really trying to get me in trouble with people, huh? Pulp Fiction, that's another very iconic poster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people wear
But
that on their
The
shirts
Evil
everywhere.
Dead is also a very iconic poster.
It's a niche icon, but yes, it is iconic with it.
Yeah. And part of the reasoning we went with this one is because it's something very very crowded compared to something very much more minimalist, but they're both very iconic in their own way.
It's also a way to pitch two sinister decisions side by side.
Mm. Uh, all right, so this one is kind of an easy one for me, but I'll do the breakdown first. With Pulp Fiction, there's a heavy focus on the cast here. A good quarter of this poster is just listing the people's names in a bright color right in front of you. The poster's obviously emulating some sort of magazine, obviously with the 10-cent price tag on it. They're going for some visual aesthetic. I haven't seen Pulp Fiction, so I don't know how relevant the magazine aspect to this is for a poster, but
I'm not going to
it
spoil that.
doesn't tell me much, though. Not really knowing anything about Pulp Fiction, what this is. There's a lady with a gun lying down. Some sort of element of action, probably with a gun. Quentin Tarantino film. So if you're a film goer and you know the name, maybe the name can draw you in. Cast. It seems like they were relying more on people's names than what the property is of Pulp Fiction, and that wouldn't draw me in innately through a poster. Evil Dead, that is a very simplistic poster. A pretty distinct blue going against this black ground here, and a bright white font on the black really pops. And this image obviously conveys what type of film it is. It's a horror film, which already tells me more than what really Pulp Fiction is. I'm going with Evil Dead.
Okay.
And I think the tilt actually helps a lot with the Evil Dead too. If it was perfectly perpendicular or parallel to the ground, it wouldn't be as visually striking.
Would you classify the Pulp Fiction top as a pop eye-catching red?
It can be, yeah,
Interesting.
it can be. Is that
Fascinating.
relevant?
Yeah, well, that's what you said about Jurassic Park.
Oh, you're going with Jurassic Park, yeah. But the red surrounds the image of a dinosaur, so it draws you to the subject of the dinosaur. This draws you to the title of the movie, which the title itself, I don't know what Pulp Fiction means. That doesn't tell me anything about the movie. So the draw doesn't take
Okay.
you to the same
I know
subject
that
matter.
comment just riled up a ton of Tarantino fans, but okay.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry. I felt the rile. I'm just burying
Yeah, I felt the same exact thing.
it.
Okay.
uh,
All right. Also,
all right.
Beat you to a
Evil Dead,
pulp in a
even though
book.
creatively tilted, still somewhat symmetrical.
It is centered. Yeah.
All right. Next round, round 6. You have the Apple Dumpling Gang against Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Well, I can picture both of them. Oh, that's the different apple dumpling poster. I was thinking. Um. Okay.
Two posters that have a lot going on.
I know which one I prefer off the bat, but now I have to give reasons why I like. That's the hard part, giving reasons. Apple Dumpling Gang does not do it for me. Uh, it's kind of one of those older styles, kind of like the whodunits that they used to do, even though it's not really relevant to Apple Dumpling Gang. But it's a similar style to the whodunit posters, where they got these like caricatures of the actors being portrayed.
They did one of those for Cheap Detective, right?
But yeah, they did do that. Yeah, and they did it with Murder by Death. Not a great one, but yeah, it's an older style. It does set the time frame you're in. It's a western of some sort. It's obviously some sort of comedy, or there's going to be some hijinks involved at the very least. And it's talking about gold, so it's probably some western heist film. So it does convey a lot about it, which is a good thing. And if you know famous people, you can kind of tell who they are from the faces. So it is a good poster, all things considered. But everything everywhere all at once is, you could describe it as visual diarrhea, but in a good way. There's so much going on here. Your eyes get drawn to the center, and then you work your way out. Because the first thing you see is the sausage fingers, but you don't realize they're fingers. And then you work up, like, oh my gosh, it's a hand. What is going on here? And you just see multiple variants of, or two variants of Michelle Yeoh's character, whose name I've
Evelyn
forgotten, Evelyn.
and Wayman.
And obviously, lots of celebrities here too that can help sell the film. Lots of bright, vibrant colors. Tell you there's a high energy involved here. But the downside, I think, to this poster is it doesn't really tell you anything. That all that it's going to be a trip, but I don't know what type of trip this is going to be.
Definitely a drug trip. That film.
Yes.
Not
Fascinating.
sure what drug trip, but it's a trip.
So one tells you a lot of the
So
film,
one
and one
tells
tells
you a
you
lot about the
nothing.
film. One is more visually appealing. Now, which one would draw me to see the movie? That would be a personal thing, I would imagine. Um, I'm picking everything everywhere all at once. I really like the visual of it, but I do think Apple Dumpling did a good job with the design.
I mean, I'll kind of give my 2 bit cents. I also am surprised at like how good, quote unquote, the Apple Dumpling Gang poster is, because it's not something I would typically find aesthetically pleasing either. But I still found myself kind of enjoying the poster a little bit.
I think it's a
Mm,
damn good poster. It's got a lot to it. It is bland, but then again, that's of the time.
yep.
All right, on to the next
Round
round.
7.
Yeah, uh, we have. Uh, and you know what, Springs, you do this one.
Sure. Crimson, you got 2 blue choices. You have Jaws against The
Okay.
Thing.
Well, two very iconic posters. Two things we have yet to cover.
Yes, a round that. Well, we just had a round that had 2 things from the pod. So you get a round of 2 things not from the pod.
All right. Both of them convey the kind of genre they're going in. Well, one's more spooky, potential horror. One is a horror with the shark. Jaws. What could Jaws mean with a picture of a shark and a lady in a lake or ocean? What have you?
Yeah, nothing could go wrong, right?
Yeah, it's obviously a gardening movie. So does a good job. Obviously, with Jaws, they got the centered composition that I like. Very minimal with the colors. Once again, we get the pop of the red jumping to the title. Um, and if you're going with line work again, the nose of the shark is also pointing towards the title. So there's a lot going straight for the title,
And a tagline.
which is the tagline is so tiny. The terrifying motion picture from the terrifying number one bestseller. Sure. This when did that come out? Like 78 or something?
When
Jaws
Jaws come out?
old. That's when people
70s.
actually read books and cared. So I guess that could be a selling point. um, and then the thing, one similar center composition. John Carpenter. They're trying to sell by putting it right over the title.
75.
Title very simple. These are very close. And then the tagline, "Ultimate Alien and Terror," kind of tells you definitively what
Horror.
type
Yeah.
of film. Because visually it looks like a horror, and now you know aliens are involved in alien horror.
It does give
That's
it away it's an
intriguing.
alien.
Yes, that's an intriguing thing, especially when this came out. um, if if I hadn't seen either, and I've seen both of these, I think the thing is more visually interesting. It would draw me more.
So
White
Do you
that
have
Border,
any?
I could
so that's
give
your
or
answer?
take, but yeah, I'll take the thing.
Yeah, out of curiosity, what's I guess what sets it above Jaws for you a little bit more?
I would like to know because I think Jaws is a perfect poster.
A darn good poster. These are both iconic, good posters. These have test stood the test of time as posters. People who haven't seen these movies, and if you removed the titles from these posters, people would know what these movies are. They're that iconic visuals. Um, so I think it just comes down to if I didn't know these, the alien horror film sounds more intriguing than a shark survival film.
Okay,
Hmm.
But I
interesting.
think they both do a good job conveying what they are, and in terms of composition and colors, it's all good.
Okay.
All right. Uh, I guess that leaves us the last two.
Last round
Uh,
of
last round.
the first.
Yeah,
What is before a quarterfinal? I
I
don't
think
even
it's
know if
just
it
the
has a
first
name.
brackets.
Yeah.
Quintuple final.
Yeah.
The quintuple final.
Quintuple fuck.
All right. We have the Changeling versus E.T.
Oh, interesting pairing here. Playing with silhouettes, minimal color choices. What the heck's the
Minimal
tagline
on
for
the
Changeling?
titles as well. Yeah.
That's an interesting tagline. How
Just
did you die,
questions.
Joseph? Did you die in this house? Why do you remain? That's kinda funny.
That is
That's a
that is pretty
lazy
good.
tagline, but it does kinda tell you what's going on. Uh, the ghost is Joseph and may have died in the house, and they may remain. Or no, they do remain. We learn why they remain. And ET is it's an iconic poster. Same with Jaws and the Thing. If you took the title away, you would know exactly what this is. Uh,
It's so big it
the
became the
full
emblem
moon.
production
Yeah,
logo.
that's true.
Yeah.
You got the full moon centered on the screen. The crater is nearly centered. It's a little off, but still looks good. You get a slight gradient with the blue, which is kind of adds to it. If it was just a solid same color of blue, I think it would detract from
Mhm.
it being like a night sky. And the trees not being symmetrical, in this instance being asymmetrical, I think works for this shot.
To even out the silhouette of the moon, or I guess
Yeah,
Elliot
because you got a bunch of trees on the right, and then you got the subject being
on the
Elliot and
left.
ET on the left side, so it balances the image out. Got the lower right, upper left, and the changeling, striking imagery. You get a sense that it's a scary film. Some, having watched it, may disagree with that. But the poster conveys it's scary. It's got something to do with a ghost, and I think that's all you really need. You don't really know what the changing means. Um, going off of this, which would be the same complaint I had with Pulp Fiction, but that could be limited knowledge.
How do you feel about the
Uh,
changeling's font?
it just kind of screams horror to me.
Okay.
There's something about it that stands out to you.
No, you just brought up font earlier about Shawshank, and I just didn't know if this font stood out.
No, I mean it's white to a mostly dark poster, so it does pop with the color choice. But in terms of font, it doesn't really stand out as being too unique.
And then
Um,
ET
ET is
giving,
very simple.
but giving what the acronym actually stands for, kind of not a tagline, but kind of like with the thing, telling you that it's an alien. Like if it didn't say the extraterrestrial and it was just ET,
Yeah, I mean it conveys more for the viewer of the poster, which is a good thing.
Obviously, we put these two together because they're very aesthetically similar in
the
that they play
Yes,
silhouette.
with shadows and
which is what I brought up in the beginning.
yeah.
I think I'm going to go with ET, even though I feel like Changeling did everything right except for the tagline. Tagline sucks, but ET, you don't really get a vibe with ET. I think that's the only thing that's missing. You can't tell what type of movie this is. You don't know if
Would
it's a kids movie or adventure action. You don't know what it is.
would the changeling
It seems lighthearted.
would the changeling beat out ET if the tagline wasn't there? If that was just black?
It would be better. Would it be better than ET? It'd be better than its current self. Mm, No, I'll still stick with ET just because it's iconic. Uh,
Okay.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
I'm certainly learning something here.
Okay.
So
Well, what are you learning?
I'm learning what you find better in like art and posters. So like what do you think pops? The Jaws one is surprising to me with how you talked about the pop and the draw in of everything and like the nose point and Mr. and Mrs. Smith and how much things we haven't had paired connect and just learn.
Trying to break down the art of this stuff as well.
Yeah. You want to start us off the second? It's the second quarterfinals.
All right. So the next round you have Shawshank against Halloween.
Yeah, it's an interesting pairing. Some are you got the blacks and the warm colors, the orange colors. Interesting little connection there.
Again, this one's again they have similar aesthetics, but I guess they're now pitting like uh,
Yeah,
simplicity versus complexity almost.
yeah.
They're
broken
also now
down
in the vein,
the
this is your
posters a
doing.
lot already. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I know which one I like subjectively, and that's the Halloween one. I think that one is just far more visually striking than Shawshanks, and it does
However,
still convey what type of film it is. Just trying to think what Shawshank has over the Halloween poster. Uh, hmm. My answer's Halloween, but I'm trying. Maybe you guys can ask me questions, and maybe it'll focus my thoughts.
trying to think.
What draws is it the simplicity that helps draw you to Halloween over Shawshank? Because Shawshank has the striking image of the rain and like
The
pouring over him.
text of Shawshank has
Perfect.
multiple colors. You got black, red, and off yellow, and a white. Halloween is all white. Does the simplicity of that help more?
Um, it'd have to be a case by case basis. In this scenario, the limited options for the Halloween one does help with the image being a focus, which does certainly help it. I'm trying to think if getting rid of the tagline for Halloween would even make it better. If they just had Halloween and the pumpkin knife.
Covering it
I
with
don't
my
know.
finger? I don't know. That's pretty good too.
Yeah, I would just scoot the image over a little bit to cover a little bit on the left side. But yeah, I think just how much it pops is just more visually striking for me, and potentially for general audiences. I mean, I don't know how many people have both these posters, but I know a lot of people have the Halloween one for sure.
Right? So yeah, it's the simplicity and of everything that draws you in. You think a little bit more.
Certainly for this pairing, sure. Like there's some like the Ant Man poster where it's like
Oh,
all
he's
white and then tiny little
tiny.
Ant Man.
Yeah,
It's funny, but it's very simplistic, and I wouldn't say that would win over like Shawshank
A good
because it's
poster. Yeah.
simplistic.
because
Yeah.
they reused that same joke in Ant-Man the Wasp
Yeah, they
on
did.
the poster. Anyhow, next one's going to be interesting with what you just said about simplicity. You have Jurassic Park against Belle. Simplicity versus symmetry.
Well, they're both symmetrical. Uh, with centralized figures, one being the logo, one being Susu and Belle, and Beast, I suppose. We got beasts on both of these.
That's true.
Facing each other.
What's interesting about this one is Jurassic Park implies a world, and then you get some semblance of the world in Belle in the poster
Yeah,
itself.
with added context. Yeah, figure it out along the way. It's, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Jurassic Park already.
Yeah, well,
It's
I assumed.
it's Belle's poster, all things being considered, is quite generic with a lot of current posters where you got like the main centralized focused characters overlapping each other. Um, so it's not very visually appealing or unique. Jurassic Park, you could argue, isn't either. It's just a logo. It's not even like indicative of the entire film per se. You don't know any of the actors. Nothing's selling it except for dinosaurs, which they carved their own niche for. I mean, how many other dinosaur franchises do we have right now? Not really any mainstream ones.
What was the other one? Like 63 million years or something like
Oh,
that?
Yeah,
65?
63. Yeah, that
65
was
with
funny.
Adam Driver
Yeah,
flopped.
it's
Uh,
a great movie, hilarious. But
but
yeah,
Jurassic Park snagged dinosaurs. They got it. They got it locked. And if they keep making terrible movies, they're gonna lose it until someone can actually do it.
someone might argue they've already lost it.
A
I mean,
Dominion.
no one's taking the reins. No one's taking the reins of dinosaurs yet.
That's
Jurassic
true.
Park still holds it.
Anywho,
All right.
still
So Jurassic Park over
Jurassic Park.
Bell.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
You got it. which makes the next pairing for Jurassic Park very interesting.
Yeah,
Anywho, next you have
very similar posters.
the evil. I keep saying without the
Mhm.
Evil
I always
Dead
do Evil Dead.
against Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All right. All right. Hmm. They both have, all things considered, pretty simple fonts. One pops more than the other. One is quite simple, one is not simple, one is quite complex. But as I brought up with Everything All at Once, it doesn't say much of anything. Looking at this, I probably wouldn't be able to tell it's a multiverse film. Um, it could be pretty much anything. Evil Dead, you know you're in for a horror film. And this one, does the posters do their jobs? That's what I'm kind of balancing with these. I feel like Evil Dead does its job better with conveying the film. Yeah, I'll do Evil Dead.
All
I think
right.
it does its job.
All right. And the last one in the quarterfinals, which fitting how similar they are, E.T. against The Thing.
So much blue.
Blue aliens.
We got a lot of orange and blue across all of these posters.
What's
Is
left?
like, are there any greens across any of the posters we did?
I think there's some in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and we have the
More
tree. I think in
teals.
the
Tree and
apple
apple
dumpling.
dumpling. Very small. Yeah. Thing ET. I don't think I can really add more. I kind of broke them down for so both iconic. I feel like the thing can draw more people in. It's more visually interesting. Why is the face hidden?
Is it because it's more
There's
humanoid?
aliens. What does the alien look like? Is it an alien? Is it a person? What are we looking at here? There's more intrigue. Meanwhile, ET, we know it's about an alien, but like I said before, we don't know what type of movie this is. So
I feel like
I'm
those.
up for thing.
I feel like those questions could also go for the ET though. Of is that a bike? What's on the bike? What's that? Is that a person wearing something?
Well, I mean, you have image association, right? Like you see a presumable kid on a bike, you're going to assume it's a human kid. The basket, that would be the questionable thing. Is the un in the basket?
Is
Could
the
be the kid.
is the
Who
kid the
knows?
alien?
Don't know. But like I said, image association. Same with the thing. I mean, he's wearing some Arctic gear, so that could just be a human. It could be an alien. Who knows? But the hiding of the face implies mystery. Meanwhile,
ET doesn't.
ET
Yeah.
doesn't imply mystery.
Okay. Something for me, I'll just say every time I see the thing, I always think of it as like a deep sea diver outfit, like a Captain
Yeah, I can see that.
Cutler or whatever that Scooby Doo villain is.
Or the
The Cyclops.
Cyclops.
Yeah, that's what I see in that poster.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, next one Jurassic Park against Halloween for the semifinals.
We're getting two warm posters and then two cool posters.
Yep.
You.
Interesting how that came to be.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, you made your own bed, sir. You have to sleep in it.
did. All right. And I can't break these down anymore. Even though Jurassic Park is selling purely off of the niche of dinosaurs, you don't even know if there's humans other than it's a park, but it could be a figurative park, not a human-made park. um,
I mean, I guess yeah, fair enough.
a park could just be a piece of land that, right?
Isla Nublar.
Yeah. Um, I'm going Halloween. What's the point? What's you got questions?
All right. Uh, I'm I'm not surprised at how far Jurassic Park made it.
Oh no, I knew that would be a good runner. It's a subjective high,
Yeah.
but considerably everything else. I didn't know
So
where
what?
simplicity fully landed with you, and like I'm
Yeah.
getting things.
I guess I got a question. Would it be is it the the uniqueness of the Halloween poster in its simplicity? Because I mean, like obviously they both share
It
the
is
black background.
creative. I like the creativity of it. Uh, a hand holding a blade turning into an evil pumpkin looks very good. I do like the creativity behind it. All the
Right.
colors are right. The black is right. It's a well constructed poster.
The tagline
Okay.
pops more than the Jurassic Park one. It's very small. Then again, the Jurassic Park title is in with the image. Halloween and the image are two separate.
Yeah, and that goes with the eyes drawing thing I was mentioning with the red circle in the beginning.
And the Jurassic Park font is pretty fitting.
All right.
It is.
And for the other semifinal,
Yeah, from
uh,
the reds to the blues.
from the Reds to the Blues, we have The Thing and The Evil Dead.
Hmm. They both do their jobs conveying what type of film they're going with.
Two horrors.
One has some element of mystery implied. One, not really. You don't know what's happening to the lady. I guess is it zombies? Uh, is it demons? Who knows?
Is it The Evil Dead? Who knows?
I mean, Evil Dead is selling it based off the endorsement of Stephen King, a well-respected individual. Um, this is hard. I'll mix it with some subjective because I feel like I've been doing a lot of objective leaning in this one. I'll go with Evil Dead.
Evil Dead?
I'm assuming you
Evil
just because
Dead.
you like the. In that case, it's because you like the. You have more nostalgia for the franchise.
Yeah, I think they're both solid posters. I think
Fair
they're
enough.
too close to objectively pair for me. So yes, I'll take the one I'm more closer to there.
That brings
All
us to
right.
the finals of The Evil
Dun,
Dead
dun, 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 dun,
against
dun, dun, dun,
Halloween.
dun, dun.
Writer, are you surprised?
I was about to
Not
ask you
really,
guys,
actually.
were either of these gonna be high on you guys' perspective here?
Y-
I
Not
I won't answer that
really.
until you make a decision.
Yeah, but you answer your decision first.
I will not sway your vote in the finals. That'll make me real guilty.
Oh boy, oh boy. Hmm.
Break it down, artist. You got this.
I don't know how to break down. I feel like I've done everything I know. I mean, one is so simple. I've said everything about it. Um, yeah, Evil Dead. Interesting. So drained. Um,
It's all the
what
brain
the
power you're
heck?
using.
Halloween. Halloween wins.
Just like that? Just just a whim?
Isn't that anticlimactic for you guys? It's I do think the simplicity, the iconography, the contrast of orange and black is all very well thought out and organized. Um, I'd imagine it took a lot of variations to come up with this concept because it's a pretty cool concept.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Evil Dead, even though you can figure out it's a horror film, it's not too interesting. There's nothing unique about a girl getting grabbed by a creature. Meanwhile, Halloween, what other poster have you seen a knife turn into a pumpkin?
Or pumpkin turned into a knife.
Fair.
I will say
There you go.
now,
More unique.
I won my bet. I thought Halloween would win it all.
Alright.
He did. I think my pick was I think I agreed. I said either that or Jurassic Park because
I think
I
you
think
leaned
we
Jurassic Park because you knew it was subjectively more liked by Crimson.
yeah, but the reason, but again, I picked Jurassic Park for funny enough the same reason that Halloween one is we figured your taste for simplicity would uh win out. And since I mentioned it, since you kind of came up when you brought up Belle being a generic poster, that's kind of why I batted for it to be here. We had something more on the generic side, and see how far that would climb up your ladder.
Yeah, but it still had a good case of symmetry, so it did
Yeah,
pitch for something else. A lot of variable
Mhm.
differences between things, but then again, a lot of likeness, which is funny how a lot of these paired with likeness.
Yeah.
By the end, yes, it started pairing up with likeness because uh, yeah. So
Well, I'm sure Sinister isn't going to be too thrilled.
I mean, second place isn't too
That
bad.
is true. Second place. Hey, that's how I
Or
felt about
tie.
Writer's Bracket. Lord of the Rings got second place, and that's where I thought it was a winner.
That leaves Sprinks's bracket.
Yeah.
indeed, it does.
Sprinks, were you more excited for our bracket for you or the brackets you made for us?
Um, I think I was most excited for your bracket because your art form of graphic design and how art works or anything has not been covered very little on the pod in coverage of films and shows. So I was most excited to hear more of that from you.
Do you want to pitch this one, Crimson?
Huh? Let's see.
I will say before the pitch,
Uh,
Crimson spoiled me on one thing of it. He
I
said
did.
for the running, he has no clue what would make first place or last place. He doesn't know where I'm going
Oh,
to place any of it.
if you got that as a spoil, yeah, this
It's
is
just something you
all
shared with me,
I've I have
which
no
means you
idea.
have not bet on what's going to win.
Yeah,
Uh,
we did not place any bets.
we have.
Uh,
I'm not gonna say we. I have no idea anything. This is
yeah,
a 100% a learning experience.
yeah, this is a learning experience for both of us because it's come up before on the podcast, but it's been circumvented, shall we
It
say?
Oh
has been
boy.
circumvented. Uh,
Do you want to do histories first? Took us 2.5 hours. We had
well,
uh,
we did 2 hours of figuring it all out and half an hour picking pictures.
Okay.
yes,
I came in with two ideas. Writer came in with no ideas, and by the
but
end we had a list of what 15 or something.
So
yeah,
did
15.
Kim?
I arrived because I figured it'd be. I arrived and then just started generating ideas because I was in a very creative mood that day.
Okay. Hey, that happened when we made Crimson's. You had a couple
Yeah,
ideas, but then
exactly.
we spawned more of them by conversation.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we had too many.
this is a combination of your idea and my idea. I think though, right? Ultimately,
Uh, this was my initial pitch, and yeah, we molded it to uh,
Oh,
a bit.
one thing about the history of Ryder and I's poster one for you, Crimson, that I forgot to mention. We had help from Hummer.
Oh, an outside party.
We asked Hummer what some iconic posters were that came to her mind, and she gave us some ideas.
I'm surprised the alien didn't pop up. That's a
I said it was
it
too
is one I
bland.
picked. Yeah, it is one I picked,
too
but
bland.
we ultimately decided it would be too bland, and we already had other simple posters, quote unquote.
Okay.
But that would be that
We were
green you were
trying
talking about.
to, yeah, to kind of go a little more into the history to yours, Chris. We were trying to pick a variation of complexity versus simplicity, which was what a lot of our initial pairings were.
And
Um,
I'm sure we didn't even
and
get
then
them
we
all.
started trying to line up like as well. So you know, it's fun.
Okay. Perfect. 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 Did we have any other history writer, or did we pretty much get that down
Not
there?
really. Once we because we did we came up with a few ideas, but once we settled, um, it
Yeah.
was the difficult thing was pairing. That's what took the longest. Once we settled on the idea.
We do have a couple on the back burner, kind of like how everyone has had stuff on
Yeah,
back burners now.
I think there could be a supplemental later down the line of just doing the brackets that weren't here.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. Do you want to say the first one, Ryder?
Oh, we gotta pitch
Or
the
I'm like, do
idea
actually,
I
what
get
it
to know
is?
first.
what it is?
Say what it is. Yeah, right.
You want me to do it?
Dude, my mouth is so dry from that poster thing.
All right. Well, you're dodging a bullet. All right, Sprinks, my buddy, my pal, my friend.
Oh, I don't like
This
these
has come up a,
adverbs.
a lot in the both in the podcast and outside the podcast. It's been circumvented. We want to know who you are most attracted to
Oh,
Visually,
visually.
visually, not
not
character.
character.
No.
Not
Visually.
visually.
This is gonna raise so many questions.
Yeah.
Oh
Or
no.
or or
Oh,
we'll
this is
answer them.
embarrassment.
Well,
This is humiliation. But I'll give it my
What
damnedest because it's for the 100.
humiliation? No,
Dude,
this is
you
going to
could
be
put
so much
Judy
learning
freaking
because,
Hops in here. I don't know. I'm scared now.
no. We have
or not
ruled
so much.
out
All right, we're
we
not
have
evil.
ruled out all animated characters.
Okay.
That's true. It's all
Okay.
live
No
action.
Jessica Rabbit. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. We're not here to find out if you're a furry, but I'll note that down for the future.
That's not what I was implying. Oh, okay.
All right. Uh, our first pairing for you, Spring, is Clementine from Sunshine of the Spotless Mind versus Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh.
Boom.
Okay. God, how do I narrow down?
This is gonna be an interesting list.
It is. I don't know how
Yeah.
to convey things with words in this way, though.
So
That's the hardest
exciting.
thing for me to try to
You
do. I know, looking at the because you just said on attractiveness, not on character. Like I'm not compiling a bunch of
yes.
things all in one, like personality, uh,
Is it their noses, the
relationships.
hair? What's
Like
going
I'm
on
not
here? The
compiling all that.
paleness?
It's just the physical attraction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so
Ryder, I don't remember if did we say the outfits we chose for the photos are part of the visual?
We said yes unless Sprinks like has a specification.
Wants an audible.
Yeah, what's an audible?
oh, the outfits count.
Outfits are part of the visual attractive. Yes.
Okay. Huh. Well, the thing is, I think I already know the winner.
Okay. Good. Now I want to. I want to hear why.
That's the tough thing. So I think the winner is Ramona Flowers.
Okay.
Okay.
The reason of why is it really sucks. It sucks that I can't do character. Like understanding that.
Yeah, that
Character
was
had way too much wiggle room.
yeah. We the reason we eliminated that is because we knew that would carry a lot of weight.
Yeah. Um. Let's see.
And I don't know your taste, so
Well,
this is good.
I like Kate Winslet's face shape of round. Mary Elizabeth Winstead really has a pointed chin. At least these images here. So Kate Winslet gives me more of a innocence cute look in the face shape that I'm more attracted towards. However, something about Mary Elizabeth Winstead's eyes captivate me far more than Kate Winslet's.
Can't blame
Interesting.
you.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying
Having
Yeah.
these two,
with
oh
the
man, this is
eyes.
such a
Yeah.
boy talk. Gosh, the last two were very
Yes.
artistic, and this is just,
Th-
oh, okay.
This is something you never do. You
No,
never do guy talk.
no, I don't like to
uh,
objectify.
It's preference.
It is, but okay.
Everyone has preferences. Objective.
I guess for outfit, I like that you paired these two because of both colored hair.
yeah, that's one of the reasons we started them
Yeah,
out together.
and you also chose purple for Ramona and the orange for Clementine, since both have various colors of hair. Slightly surprised you didn't give them both the green.
An issue for some of these characters were limitations of photo options. some were very limited, and the ones that were available were really low quality. So some of those were kind of forced. I would have put blue hair Ramona. Uh, Ryder was more championing this the pink one.
Okay.
But you got the blue hoodie, you know, so you still got some of the blue aesthetic in there.
Yes. For outfits, I think both outfits are fine. Definitely to the environment. One being in the woods and one in Canada. Um, I do like the black choker on Ramona. More so than the bracelets on Clementine.
That's fair.
I also prefer shorter hair versus long.
How out of curiosity, how do the steampunk goggles factor in?
They match well with the outfit. I think they're fitting. Um, I think it would definitely say more if it was around the neck or if it was, of course, on the eyes. I think if it was on the eyes, I might give it to Clementine actually, which is a very big sounding of harsh, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead's eyes are very um, attractive.
And not going to hear any argument from me. Uh,
Very appetizing.
So
Very
that's my
appetizing.
winner for round one.
All
And
right,
I will still state
learning
I am
plenty.
uncomfortable.
Short hair. I didn't know
I
about
am
that.
uncomfortable, and this
I said
I don't
that
know if
this
I'll feel like a winner at the end.
I said that there will be
We'll
some
feel like
parts
winners.
there will be discomfort for people in our brackets, and I felt uncomfortable during mine for a completely different reason. So
I slightly questioned this might be easier if it was men.
Probably. Yeah.
yeah, probably. All right, do you wanna do the second one, Crimson?
Yeah. Why not? We have Elaine, aka Zoe Saldana from Death at a Funeral, versus Charlotte, aka Scarlett Johansson
All right.
from Lost in Translation.
Again, being that it's just on attractiveness, it I don't have a lot of like thought to stack a bunch of things. So it's like kind of when I see these being attraction, I know the winner to get go.
It's all about the explanation for me.
Well, that's the hard part for me to try to convey.
Exactly.
Precisely.
The winner of this is Elaine, Zoe Saldana.
Really
Yes.
interesting.
I never got the attraction a lot of people find with Scarlett Johansson. And
Interesting.
Okay,
trust
all
me,
right.
throughout the Avengers and MCU, she goes through multiple hair types.
That
Yeah.
yes, it changes every movie.
Yes. But it was just one that never resonated with me. I mean, she is attractive, she's fine, but I don't see her as a high tier for me.
So what puts Elaine above Charlotte here for you?
I really like Zoe Saldana's smile. And I know it's just this image of Elaine going from the pod, but even when she smiles as Gamora, I think the smile really is great on her. For some reason, for me, for Scarlett Johansson's smiles come across as fake. I don't know. I know they're sincere, and like in interviews and presses and everything outside of it, I don't know. Her smiles just seem like pity in situations, and Zoe's feel more genuine.
I
The
can see that.
outfits here, I see that they're both um, have something around their neck. I'd prefer Zoe Saldana's. The scarf is nice. Could get me on favorite season of winter, so I like that. But still, hair color, I will say, I think. Now it goes into my history. When I was younger, I was into blondes. As I've gotten older, I'm into black hair.
All black.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right.
I agree with your opinion of these two options. By the way, throwing that out.
Uh, yeah. I agree with the obviously Ramona Flowers over Clementine as well. I'm also kind of in agreement here. I find Scarlett Johansson uh, attractive, but I don't necessarily see what everybody else sees. You know,
Yeah.
there's a So I get that. That spoke to me a little bit.
Yep. You want the next one?
Sure, unless you want to
Uh,
dig more out of me.
I've
no, I want the
dragged you
one
out already.
after this one. I
You
think
want the one after
actually,
this one? All
yeah.
right. This one's going to be an interesting one. We have Karen Wheeler from Stranger Things versus Jane Smith.
Oh my
Uh,
god!
versus
Uh, well, damn it. It sucks that I see it in it takes a second and I know the winner.
yeah,
That's the
good.
Yeah, but
You know
yeah,
what you
it's good.
want.
It's good for you.
You know what you want. It's good for you.
This is Mrs. Wheeler.
Oh, see,
interesting.
learning big here. That's a big learn.
Yeah, that truly
Same
big
with
learn.
what I said about Scarlett Johansson. I never understood the full attractiveness of Angelina Jolie. It's not. I know it's natural beauty, but so many other women try to replicate her look at times, kind of like
Oh, so now it
Kim
feels like
Kardashian.
diluted,
It feels a
almost.
little plastic surgery look, and I know it's not for her, but the cheeks and the lips feel come across to me
Yeah,
as somewhat
Or really sharp
production
features.
lined.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Karen Wheeler is natural. God, what an image you chose. Is naturally fine. I like her hair. You got someone from the '80s, so I like the '80s hair. Definitely shorter and above the shoulders than Jane Smith's here. Um, what
yeah.
else?
I didn't know
I
short hair
think
for her.
Angelina Jolie
That's
has better
cool.
eyes than Kara.
Hmm. All right. Ryder, you wanted the next one?
I did. I really did. Um, we have next up here for you, Springs. We have
Dude, I'm making
Brooke.
like a lake around my chair. I am nervous.
Next one we have is Brooke from Before We Go and Betty from Riverdale.
Hard hitting one right here, I think.
Okay.
Was this an immediate easy one?
Yes, they're all immediate easy. I can tell.
I
Okay,
don't know.
I'll say. This is not Betty Cooper in this image. I think this is actually her mom in a flashback.
Are you serious?
I think that's from the Midnight Club episode. So I think you're
Ryder,
false
you
there.
I wouldn't
Ryder.
know. Well, what? I
We got
tried to
there in
forget
season
Riverdale.
4.
Yeah, and I
I
tried to
I had
forget.
I had like 3 or 4 Betty options, and
I
Ryder
went with
was
that one. Yeah.
sold for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the answer is Lily Reinhardt, Betty Cooper.
Okay.
However, I don't care for her outfit. Brooke's outfit is
For her.
more plain and simple, and I guess it's something else I'll share. I like the library look, the plain tone colors, and not a ton of accessories needed, not a lot of skin showing, just the very cozy look.
Like Betty in
Yeah.
her home kind of look.
If you chose Betty from episode 1, way better for me.
Oh, you're only saying that because she takes her shirt off, huh?
No, absolutely not. I didn't even refer to that.
Well, welcome to Guy Talk.
I can't
so
tell
yeah,
how much of the audience is
you're more
skipping past this or how much are actually
no,
listening into this.
they're engaging this. So you're for more like a baggy clothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
um, Out of curiosity, is what I because the hair is longer for Betty than it is for
It
Brooke.
is, but Brooks does
So
touch her
what's
shoulders. So to me, there are, I guess it's kind of in ranks of, I guess, bald, buzz, bob, shoulder, anything lower to shoulder to butt, and then butt beyond, like Rapunzel. I think is where
yeah?
I kind of put them. And Brooks, I do prefer.
You prefer Brooke's
Brooke's
hair,
hair,
but you
yes. But Betty's
okay.
face is more attractive to me than Brooke's.
Interesting.
'Cause that's
Do you
another
want to
thing
get
I'll go, which
Yeah.
I'm not embarrassed to say, is I am fully when there's always the question in guy groups, that are you an ass or tits man? We've all heard this
I'm a
question.
face guy.
I'm a face
Yeah,
guy.
I'm same.
That is my answer. It's face. I am attracted to the
That's what you're
face
looking
of a
at all the
person.
time.
Yeah, that's what you see most of the time. So I totally get that. I'm not going to judge you for that.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm same. All right, next round, whichever are we at 5? I'm not
Yes, we're
keeping
at
track.
5.
Uh, we have Elizabeth Swann, Keira Knightley, versus Princess Buttercup, Robin Wright.
Dude, Keira Knightley, easy, easily. I'm sorry, Robin. Keira Knightley, I've had a crush on Keira Knightley for a long time.
Oh, Ryder, we got a
Don't.
winner here.
Yeah, don't feel any shame in that. So did I, Springs.
I think a lot of boys did.
Yeah.
Uh,
We all
we
grew up
went
with
easy on
pirates,
you.
so
We went easy on you,
Yeah, you
Sprinks,
went easy.
with
Thank
Eliz.
goodness you didn't do cartoons. Thank you for
Well,
not doing cartoons.
no, I mean with Elizabeth Swann.
Oh, like a different image?
Oh no, because the first movie, Keira Knightley's 17.
That's also good. Yeah, what was it? Johnny Depp was like 40 something.
I have no idea.
It was a
Was it
big
good
that
thing of
actors.
like
far
the
apart?
kiss that she's like
Hmm.
17 and he's 40 or something.
Yeah,
So yes, thank you
good
for that.
actors. They're doing their job. Yeah.
I'm glad
Uh,
this image
okay,
isn't
so you
errored.
you smited Buttercup because you really like
I
Swan. What is
I
there anything
sorry.
with Buttercup?
Um I like the symmetry of her face. It's very even. Her forehead isn't overly done. Her chin's fine. Um, her eyes are fine apart. Um, yeah, I think she's very symmetrically beautiful in that look. And her hair very much complements her face. I think that's very well done. But again, with the eyes, Keira Knightley's eyes are drop dead gorgeous.
Yep.
They
People
are
have
sharp. We
died for
go.
those eyes. Yeah.
Yes, dangerous.
uh,
Dangerous
yeah.
eyes.
So all right. Interesting. Write that down.
Yeah,
Write
I
that
know
down.
you're learning a
Um.
lot.
Yeah.
I am.
This is what we wanted. 'Cause you
Uh,
don't really do guy talk with
No, I
us.
not
don't.
at all.
Embarrasses me. And now I've done it once on the pod. I know, and I can either one of you or did this span from that one talk on the pod?
I don't even remember there being a
There was
talk on the
one
pod.
instance where I talked
No,
about what attracts me to someone that is
we
public.
yeah, we did come up with it because it has come up on the pod. We notice how often you kind of talk around it, and then there is that one instance where it did come up.
Yeah, I don't remember. Unfortunate. Right, are you doing the next one or am I?
Yeah, I got the next one.
All right.
Uh, we got Margaret Robbie as Harley Quinn
Okay,
From the first
against
Suicide Squad.
from the first Suicide Squad
big difference.
against Dot from Fundamentals of Caring.
Quite
Okay,
different.
okay. It's Margot Robbie.
You sound so ashamed of
Well,
that answer.
I'm.
Why?
I don't want to answer why for this one. Margot Robbie's gorgeous. Okay, we'll go with that. I grew up watching Wizards of Waverly Place, so I'm very familiar of the growth of Selena Gomez. And she's cute, but I think because of that, it's like always seen as someone that it's not an attractive to for me, or I just never got attracted to start. And like growing up, it's like, oh, I've known you kind of all my life, kind of feel. Um, Margot Robbie. I mean, you guys didn't choose Wolf of Wall Street, but those who know, woof. Um,
I haven't
yeah.
seen it.
Yeah. There's just one. Yeah. I'm gonna refrain. There's one instance of why I'm choosing Margot Robbie that I don't want to share.
You are refraining from the bracket answer. Writer, I feel offended. You feel offended?
I'm a little
I
bit
feel like I
offended.
poured my soul out for the posters, but
Fine, I'll share.
if you don't
I'll
want to do it,
share.
you don't
I'll
have to do
share.
it.
I'll
I
share.
don't want to
I'll
push
share.
you if you don't feel comfortable to.
I'll share. She's a bit. No, I. Uh,
It's fine. I
no.
You want to
listen.
You
tell
know
us
what?
after
No.
the
You know what?
recording?
You know what? You know what? You know what? You can ask later, but I won't share it because it doesn't have to do with the physical appearance.
Oh,
You like her
interesting.
accent?
Doesn't have to do with the physical appearance.
Interesting. Interesting.
I do like the hair color though.
Yeah, I actually this one was an easy one for me. If looking at this, Margot Robbie wins hands down. As Harlequin, especially.
Yeah.
Guess that's up to you.
Uh,
Corbin.
we got
Is there
two
two
left here.
more?
Yeah,
We got yeah,
two
got two
two
more.
pairings.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
pairings.
All right.
The finals
This
are
one
gonna
was me. You
kill
said.
me.
Yep.
Well, you said they've all been easy so far, so
I mean,
a
still.
challenge would be nice. Let's go with Jillian Owens, Nicole Kidman from Practical Magic, and Vanessa
Oh,
Parcel. I can't remember whatever.
easy,
Marina.
easy.
I know which one.
It's Marina.
Baccarin.
You out of your mind? Of course. You also chose the Deadpool image,
Dude, that is a
Yeah.
great photo.
dude. Marina is a smoke show.
We have some heavy hitters on this list. Yeah.
She is. I'm sorry, not. I don't mean ill against Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman's fine. I just find her kind of in the same vein
It's all
as
preferences.
Ellen, Angelina Jolie and Scarlett Johansson. Um, I think she's fine. I know a lot of people are big fans of the AMC ad where she comes up. Um, I'm not a big attendant of AMC, um, but I know that's a lot of like people's attractions. This
Oh
is
yeah, you're right.
yeah,
I just yeah, you just sparked a memory for me on that one.
going with the one from um, what is this? Practical Magic, very a younger version and different in hair, I think, than some other roles of hers. Um, but yeah, I think she's fine. I feel like her face is kind of small and really amplifies her neck more, shows more like it makes her neck look longer, um, which is fine. Yeah, I think Nicole Kidman is a fine looking, beautiful woman, but Morena is wow, just like
As you say, a
Well,
smoke show.
dude in
do you
Deadpool.
prefer her
What a
in Gotham or Deadpool
oh
or Firefly? We did consider putting her
well
from Firefly
well.
versus her
This
Deadpool.
is this is again. Are you asking physical appearance or are you asking personality
Yeah,
appearance? Okay, because
yeah. I mean, she's
personality,
got
easy
completely
answer.
different hair in Gotham. She has very
Um,
different hair in Gotham.
I
From my
think
recollection, anyways.
Serenity's shorter hair, right?
It's longer.
It's longer.
Yeah.
I'll go with
Yeah, it's
Deadpool.
past the shoulders.
I'll go with Deadpool. Deadpool's fine.
It's pretty much a Deadpool one, but more wavy.
Yeah, she just has this like even in this image, like it's very plain face, like kind of showing no emotion. But to me, it looks like she's being very seductive.
Oh, it's seductive. That
Oh
is a
yeah.
seductive face. Oh yeah. All right,
At
we
times,
got the last
you
one
guys
on this.
you guys are
Yeah,
familiar with the Kubrick stare. You know, the chin down,
uh,
eyes through your eyebrows
yeah,
look. I feel like on a woman, that's a very seductive look. I
yeah,
don't know what that says about
yeah.
me, but
Unless she
I,
has,
I I agree
because
with
she's
that.
kind of
if she
doing it in
got
this image.
if she's got RBF, it could be an angry look. But I can generally agree. It can be a seductive look. All right, you got the last one.
All right. We have Kate from Lost and Caitlin Snow from The Flash.
I feel like this is an easy one.
Yeah, I feel like this is an easy one.
That's very funny because this one is not an easy one.
Wow.
Learning things,
Finally.
aren't we?
Yeah, we finally got a challenge here. Moderate difficulty.
Yes. Okay. Um, really going for the gut on Lost there of Evangeline Lilly. Also choosing the Lost one over anything else of her work, so kudos to that. Evangeline Lilly is very gorgeous. I wouldn't say I've ever had a crush on her. But especially in Lost, there's more guys than girls in that show. And the way she goes, I'm going into character and writing and story. No, Evangeline Lilly, I think, is very pretty. She definitely has I know there's like a thing of like beautiful, cute, hot. Um, they're like different descriptions of what they mean, and pretty. I think like one's face,
Yeah.
one's body, one's personality, something like that. Um, I'm so sorry that I'm not too familiar with the meaning of all that, but I would classify Evangeline Lilly as very pretty, especially as Tariel in The Hobbit. But Caitlin Snow, I think, is very cute. Something about her face, like very like it's not Winston Payne, but it's very like empathetic look. It looks like like her face really feels others, and I find that very attractive. Of
Mm.
one who actually gives an understanding to someone through their facial emotions, um, and Danielle does that a lot, especially in Flash and um, Sky High. Um, it is tough, but I think off of nostalgia, I'm going to go with Evangeline Lilly, and also because of physical appearance. I know this is specifically Kate from Lost, but with the actress from other things, I know her from other things and other physical changes and appearances she has in other roles, and I think some of those definitely outweigh what I know Danielle from. So Evangeline Lilly moves on.
We had Shannon as an option. Would Shannon have been better than Kate
No,
from Lost?
no.
No. Kate was a better choice.
It's really hard for me trying to differentiate personality and like rip it off. Like keep a personality out of this. Because Shannon would be hard because Shannon's personality sucks. I know there's a character thing about a character growth, and I can't talk about much
Yeah.
because it's my favorite show, and writers only seen season 1. So
We started a few episodes of season 2, so I'm a little into season 2, but not very far.
nah. All right, well we got the pairing of all of them now. They're all on the table.
Yeah. So what is our
Yeah. Now,
first
presumably getting more difficult.
our quarterfinals?
Guess,
I'll say good roundup.
yeah.
Good picks. And what was this? You said 7 are from the pod and 9 are from anything else?
It, yeah. It was off. I don't remember what I think it was 7-9. I didn't double check today because we finished this a while ago. Right. Yeah. Round 2. We have Elaine versus Ramona Flowers.
You know, Crimson. We had this talk. Ryder,
I
you and I
know Crimson.
didn't.
I am.
Crimson, remember
I'm
when
sure
we
I did not.
talked about making the lists for Ryder and how I was afraid and didn't want it to be Prettiest Girl at the Party scenario? Where it's like, oh, clear number 1 and everyone else like a good contender
Yes.
for 2? Did you take that idea and
Yeah.
just run with it?
I mean, Ryder and I did our list before you and I did his.
Okay. Because this is very
Remember?
much that.
This was before that. Remember when I was at your mom's place and I said I have one that I really want and I'm going to try to convince Ryder of?
What the hell were you
This
doing at
was
my
the
mom's
one.
place? I'm joking. That's
Well,
a
you
funny
were
joke.
there.
That's a funny joke.
Yeah. This was the one.
Gotcha. Okay.
He made a good case. You don't talk about it all that much.
No,
Yeah.
for a reason. I
We've
will
known them for
say,
years,
I'm
and we're all
surprised.
guys.
I am surprised. Out of these 16, one didn't make the list.
Well, who are you thinking?
Haley Atwell, Peggy Carter.
I think Ryder pitched
I did.
pitched
I fucking did.
Carter. No, you pitched the broker. The
No,
the
yeah,
he was
I
you,
pitched
you
both.
pitched Shannon,
We pitched both. Sharon pitched Sharon Carter too.
Sharon.
Sharon Carter.
I
Oh,
pitched
no.
I pitched both, but
Oh,
ultimately we did not go with
Haley
Haley
Atwell
Atwell
was
or Sharon.
also very gorgeous. But anyhow, she's not in this running. So, Zoe Saldana against
we
Mary
got
Elizabeth Winstead.
2 superheroes. We got Gamora and Huntress. I don't know who she played in
And
First
she's
Breath.
a huntress. She was
Oh,
funny enough.
she's
She's
Hera.
barely in it, but she was the best part of the movie.
Max Payne. No, was that her name in Sky High?
Royal
Was it
Pain?
Max Payne?
Royal Pain.
Royal Pain.
Max Payne is a video game.
Well, of these two, I'm gonna have to go with Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
And why?
Her
Same eye
eyes,
thing.
her eyes are very captivating, and also shorter
Yeah.
hair and colored
Mhm.
hair, and her neck accessory is more of the choker than necklace.
Interesting.
What
How
Zoe Saldana has
highly do
over
you
it.
rate?
What? I'll let you
How
go.
highly do you rate colored hair? Like artificial colored hair,
I find it as
pinks,
an attraction.
blues, reds, all that.
It's an eye catcher to me and attracts.
More than your black hair that you talked about earlier.
It depends on what the black hair is in form of hair. None of these have my ideal hair. I would say the top tier of my hair preference. And if it was cartoon, there's a cartoon that immediately comes to mind that has that hair.
Lola Bunny.
Nope.
Ponytail. Knew
Nope.
Interesting. All right. Well, shall I read up the next one?
Yes, if you know it.
I will say Mary
I
Elizabeth
think
Winstead does have a
I
very good
do.
smile too. I think Zoe Saldana has a better smile though.
Interesting. Well,
I agree.
next up for
yeah.
you, next up for you, Sprinks, is Karen Wheeler versus Betty Cooper.
Again, this is not the right Betty Cooper image, but
Well, you know who Betty Cooper
I
is.
do.
More than I do.
More than I do. So
And he's playing the same look.
That's true. That's true. She looks the same. I mean, it's
not a different actress.
No,
here.
it's not prosthetics or anything on it.
This would be
Hesitance
interesting.
tells all. Hesitance tells all. It's Karen Wheeler is the answer that's moving on.
really,
Wow.
Yes.
So I need explanations.
That is a shock. I thought Betty would make it pretty far.
No, I'm not. First thing is the hair. I much like 80s when it comes to like lawn hair. If it's above the shoulders, like puffed up, like huge, much more attracted to that than down the shoulders.
Interesting.
How important is hair?
How important is hair? Kind of.
Yeah.
It's a bit to me.
You're talking a lot about hair. So I'm
To
curious
me,
how
hair is a
highly-
big accessory when it comes to the attraction of a face. It's what rounds out the face.
I kind of want to answer. What do you think about like? I kind of want to answer. What do you think about the whole like, uh, big puffy hair?
Like an afro?
Like, yeah.
Depends. It depends on
Okay.
how big it is. A small afro, maybe 2 inches in height, 2.5 inches in height, I think is totally fine. The ones that are like so huge you can lose stuff in,
Like, it's gonna brush the door
it's
as you
gonna brush
walk
the
in,
door
kind of
too big.
thing. Okay.
Karen Wheeler. I didn't know if she was going to make it to round 2, but I certainly didn't think she was making it further than that. Learning.
The more you know.
Well, it sounds like her hair is selling her more than
Well,
her.
no, Lily Reinhart, I think, has a small face, which really pulls all her, I guess, orifices closer. Um, to me, that doesn't. It shows a uniqueness, but it's not really a uh, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, commonality or something. Like to me, her chin and forehead are very small, and that makes everything else close. And I don't want to say it's alienating, but that's not the right word, is it?
Okay, I get what you're
But
saying.
where Karen Wheeler, I think has very natural looking head shape, mouth size, eye eye space.
Fair enough. Crimson, would you like to read off our next?
The next one's going to be a doozy, I think, from what I've been hearing. Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn versus Elizabeth Swann. Keira Knightley.
Not that big of a doozy,
Oh,
actually. It is Keira Knightley going forward.
And
even
what
with the
puts her ahead?
Her eyes.
that's the eyes.
It's the eyes.
Yeah,
Margot
I
Next
get
one's gonna
that.
be
Robbie has
Ramona
a very
Flowers versus.
yeah. Oh, that's gonna be tough. Um, Margot Robbie does have a very good body shape. Um, and more curves than Keira Knightley. I'm trying to find the most appropriate words to use. Um, but I think Keira Knightley's face is far more attractive to me than Margot Robbie's.
I get that. The eyes are a big thing for me, so I'm very open about that.
Right, final of semifinal. Well, I don't know what round we're in. Well, it's
Right.
round two.
Not keeping
Yeah.
tabs.
I mean, I have the duos match. I just don't know what rounds we're in. Round two, level two, whatever. Uh, Kate from Lost versus Vanessa from Deadpool.
Oh,
Here,
this is playing into memory versus. Pardon me. Got me so nervous. I'm burping. Memory. I don't know what the word I'm. It's not nostalgia, but just like I don't know what the right word I'm going for here. Just
no,
more knowledge and history, not like more familiar with the word. Like I'm not. I've seen both work of both these actresses, and but Lost is something so near and dear to my heart of caring. Even though Deadpool I really like, Firefly I do like, but it's not super near to me. Gotham I'm a huge fan of. Um, but Lost like tops those for me, and it's weird that it does. It's not the feeling of it. I'm trying to find a way to explain. It's not to the point of like when um, Marty's mom kisses her in Back to the Future, and it's like kissing a sibling or something like along those lines. It's not like I've known Evangeline Lilly so long of something I really have on high pedestal that it feels weird to have it like that strong of an attraction towards of a sense. So uh Morena is moving forward. Um I think Evangeline Lilly, I don't know if I've seen very seductive in roles. I have seen parts though of like that. Morena for me does it more in getting what she wants in seductivity. But what I really like about Evangeline Lilly is how comforting she is in situations given to her characters. As Morena also does that with Jim Gordon, Wade Wilson, Malcolm Reynolds. They have situations at hand, but she doesn't seem very. Um, she seems very logical about situations, but then again, that's on the characters and not herself.
I
Rather
was
than
about to say
seeing,
that's a lot of
but
character
rather than
driven
seeing
stuff.
more comfort in her face, like I said with um, Danielle, uh, of how seeing the empathy portrayal in the face while saying no lines at all, and the facial attractiveness of that. I think Evangeline Lilly does very well. However, being that you're asked if you said this is a bracket on attractiveness, Morena takes that with seductiveness.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
Now we're at the
Now
semifinals.
we're in the semifinals.
I can tell you
Proper
one of
terminology
these is
this
not
time.
moving.
One of these is not
I'm
moving.
also learning stuff about myself, boys. I'm just
Hey,
Hey, that's good.
that's what this is for.
All
uh,
right, go Ryder.
all right.
at
Well,
this point.
first up,
I I will stop. We know who it is. Sorry, I don't mean to interject. Did you two both have like? Actually, Crimson didn't. Ryder, did you have one who you thought would be number one?
uh, no, because you don't talk about this.
Okay,
I have
so you're
I had
both pretty
suspicions who would
darn
be higher
blind.
up. Yeah,
Had
I had
zero
suspicions.
frame of reference.
Yeah, I had zero frame of reference. I had guesses who might be higher than others, but I had no idea who's going to win because again, you don't talk about this with us, so no frame of reference to go on.
Okay, please
Uh,
proceed.
all right, semifinal number one is Karen Wheeler versus Ramona Flowers.
Okay, it's Ramona Flowers.
Karen's been dethroned,
Karen's been dethroned. She had a good
Yeah,
run, a surprising run.
but she's got
yeah,
the hair.
She does have
yeah,
the hair, but Ramona
that
Flowers
one
has the
was
better
this.
hair.
Yeah, that one has been the surprising run for me and Crimson. I think it was for Karen Wheeler. I think we both agree that one was a surprise.
Was she put in here as like the
Oh,
joke one, or
No,
okay?
we wanted variety, which is why we went with her.
One was someone older, but conventionally attractive. Uh, so
Yes.
it is surprised she made it that far for me, though.
She
That
has
was
a very, to me, an overwhelming, a very nice, um, as I said, lips, nose, eyes, head shape, um, hair, body. I think it's all very beautiful. However, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's eyes outbeat it, hair outbeats it, um, her closed mouth smile outbeats it, and I think her outfit, even though Karen Wheeler's being very seductive in the photo of your choosing, um, it's Ramona Flowers taking it.
All right, Crimson, you got the other one, the second to last semifinal,
final semifinal.
the final
Already, I
This,
feel like we
semifinal.
just
yeah,
got to the semifinal.
I know,
no, this next one
I
is
know.
harder, I will say,
It
because
would be hard for me.
it's Kira against Morena.
Yep,
Yep.
That's certainly
There's
harder.
the Swan versus Vanessa. How do you pronounce her last name? Vanessa
Carlisle.
Carlisle?
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 I don't know.
Is that how you spell Carlisle?
It could be
Oh, it's
with
an
the S
S.
being silent.
Yeah, this one's tougher. Um,
Finally.
well, one
Well,
is
we've had one hard one.
one's a childhood crush, and one is more in roles I have seen to be more seductive, and um,
Is one a
yeah.
current crush? Is that where?
To answer that, both are. They're both this high on the list. I will say, out of all of these, Karen Wheeler is just like the beauty is not a crush, but just like a beauty of her is how she got so high on the list. But
Blessed.
Morena, Kira, and Mary Elizabeth are all pretty much current crushes. So Marina definitely has more of the hot, seductive, sexy look, and Kira has more of the pretty, cute, beautiful. Well, actually, I guess for me, both are beautiful. Um, at least how I use that word.
Ryder,
Um,
do you know who's going to win from these three choices?
No, I have no clue. Dude, like I said, I with zero frame of reference going into this, so
We now
this
have
this
frames, though.
this is now giving us frames of
See, I'm
reference.
asking myself in my head, not child-friendly public um, podcast questions
I
that I
see.
cannot share
Interesting.
to help hopefully narrow things out. But also the fact that it's on attraction. It's on physical attraction being top number one. Keira Knightley has better eyes than Morena.
Is that what's gonna edge Elizabeth Swann up here?
No, I
Mm,
think Morena
No.
wins.
Marina has good eyes too. They're just
Morena
seductive eyes.
wins. I like her face shape more than Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley's very round or almost square-like, especially with her jaw, which is totally Keira. You're very beautiful. She'll never hear this. Morena,
One could hope.
more of an oval shape. Totally fine if she hears this. I am not. I'm embarrassed. I'm not shamed. Um, Morena, I think face shape. It's kind of like Karen Wheeler's face shape. I think her lips are really good. Her nose, her eyes, her eyebrows really fit. Um,
She's got some sharper features
yeah, I
than
think she'd
Vera.
be more attractive with shorter hair, but that's just my preference. Which is this whole damn bracket. I know it's a rambling tactic I just did. Um,
How short is short? How much? How short is too short?
bald. I mean, bald can still be beautiful, but buzz cut's fine.
Buzz cuts.
I'm more for buzz cuts, maybe a little too short of my ideal
Like
preference.
Fish Mooney.
No,
Is that a good length?
that's a fine length. I will.
Just
You
not
know
the
what? I'll
style.
share because this is all about my. I'm already shared so much on this. My Adventures with Superman, the Adult Swim cartoon. Lois Lane is so hot to me. That is the ideal
Springs,
hair.
I want you to know, I just high fived you through the air because I
That
completely
is
fucking agree.
Eh,
gorgeous. I think I've
My
publicly put something out on Twitter about that.
oh, was that what that was about?
Oh,
super.
Honestly,
that
yes.
short black hair is that does it.
Whoever's idea it was to make Lois Lane a tomboy, you fucking win. You need a Pulitzer Prize. You need a Pulitzer Prize for your idea. You deserve it.
Yeah, that might be sharing another thing on Kira. I think I have a thing for tomboys, but yeah, Morena wins this round.
All right.
All
Which
right, on
takes
to
us
the
to
final.
final round of
We're
It's
not going
not
to get eyes
easy.
versus eyes this time though,
It's
because
not
it was
easy.
key.
yeah, it's
Kira,
true.
well,
Because
no,
you
because
had
Flowers.
Kira and Mary Elizabeth. Both were like the eye ones.
yes,
That
it's
we
not
kept
a
bringing
battle of
up.
the eyes.
I think
Now it's just
the
the eye candy.
yeah, now it came up with the face shape for Ramona very early on as to why she moved on in the first round. But yeah, it's
More
mostly been the
pointed
focus of the
opposed to the
eyes.
Yeah,
rounded.
she had a pointed
Yeah.
chin, which I actually wasn't too on opposed to her first start of who she was against. Um, okay, I like out of all of these that you've given, I think the best hair goes to Ramona Flowers. Um, oh,
I agree with that, to be
Is
honest.
pink hair her best hair, or would you prefer the blue and the green?
My answer is yes, because
I
it's Ramona Flowers.
think the blue would have been fine. I don't think the green would have gone far because for me, the green indication with the black dress in the look of that film makes me think
Mm,
she's like sick or sickly because of Gideon, all
okay.
that changed. So I don't think that would have helped with me for physical attractiveness. The blue and purple pink are fine. Oh gosh, they
I'm on
both
the edge of my
fit.
seat here,
They
Crimson.
both fit
I
all the
know.
words of cute, pretty, beautiful. Mary Elizabeth Winstead has a choker in the image. I do like that accessory. But out of these two, Ramona Flowers looks more like conversation. Like I'm also going with the image you chose. She's more like really. You said that like a cute uh, comeback thing,
The
like almost on
image.
the verge of a smirk. But Moran is also on the verge of a smirk, but more seductive. Because that's right before the end of Kiss Me Because You Miss Me Red. That's where that
Yeah,
Yeah,
image. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
It's a
gosh.
great photo.
honestly, these are both great photos. I think. Um,
Oh.
The photo was more for our outfits, but if you're going with the tone of the scene. I guess that's okay.
I mean, that also. I mean, I'm going with everything of the physical. That's a physical appearance of the scene. I can branch out, and see around the parts. Um, crap. Mary Elizabeth. No, that's not physical attraction. Um,
And we'll worm around.
the best. Actually, before I give my answer, what do you two think is the winner?
Hey, you said that could
I already know
influence
the winner.
Yeah,
how it was
I already know
yeah,
the
composed.
winner.
yeah, but we're gonna play by the same rules still.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you can't make your own rules
okay.
here.
Morena wins.
That is what I was leaning, because that's what I would
Yeah,
have picked.
I figured Morena would win after she beat Kira. So very late in the game. But the way you've been talking about her, I figured she would win by the end.
Yeah.
I know who I would pick out of this
But
list to win,
dude, Ramona
but and it's
Flowers
not
has
and it's
great
very
hair.
obvious because I don't really hide my preferences. Um,
I did think Zoe would make it further, but she did get matched with Ramona pretty early. There we go. We got that
we
right.
got it.
And on and on. I gotta
Cool.
think what Ryder's top is.
All right.
I'll be Ryder's
Yes,
taste.
that's true. He said it's
I
obvious.
It is for me. For me, it was obvious. I don't have to think.
I have
Like
it down to two.
if I was given this list, I would have had a winner in my head already.
To me, it's either. I think it's either
I
Margot
think
Robbie
Margot
or
Robbie.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think it's one of those two.
I'm gonna guess Margot Robbie. Harley.
It is Ramona Flowers.
No,
Mary Elizabeth Winstead
it was between the two.
wins. Uh, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is still, I think, my number one celebrity crush.
Hey, she's married to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I know,
But
and
then
she's
again,
also in Star Wars. It's just a
Morena.
shame her show. It's just a shame her
Yeah,
show is
she's Hera
terrible.
in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
But Morena's married to Jim Gordon. That's also pretty cool.
From Gotham or a different?
From Gotham, Ben McKenzie.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I still think is my number one celebrity crush, and it's gonna be hard to top that for a while.
Thank you two
Well,
for
in general or as Ramona Flowers?
No, in general, I think she
Okay.
has very attractive as just a person. But obviously, I love Ramona Flowers too, which is just an added bonus when it comes to Ramona Flowers specifically.
thank you
I
two
made a Monster
for
Hunter character
really
after.
really blindsided me with what my bracket was to be.
No
It's a bit
strings.
different
Thank
what you
you.
two had.
Thank you,
Cool.
Springs.
You said that you wanted one that was fun.
Yeah, fun.
You didn't want them all to be so serious.
Fun is certainly a word.
Hey, you'll get to know the other two maybe in the future.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Other four, actually. The two seems
Oh,
four.
Oh. Oh yeah, we did. Oh,
All right. That was our segment.
that was the segment.
Yeah, we're still in the recap, fellas.
Woo!
All right.
Uh,
What do we think of the
we
season so far, guys?
but we, we're missing something. We just saw the deleted scenes in Canada
Oh yeah, that
Yeah, we
was
saw that about 4 hours ago.
4 hours ago.
certainly feels like I saw it 4 hours ago. Yeah.
Did they make good decisions cutting those scenes? Did you laugh at them? Should they have put one of them back
I
in
laughed
the
at how
movie?
much they thought was going to be in the film. Like if it wasn't deleted, that's what I laughed at.
Yeah. I'm really happy that the last one got cut. With the not the dam breaking one, but the everything from the TV store to like
The
the club.
underground.
Yeah, that whole sequence is so unnecessary. The hippie joke was far better.
Yeah, it was so long. It was so played out. But the fire kid at the end absolutely should have
That
been
was
like a
weird.
post-credit scene. If they had post-credit scenes back then,
Yeah, I
beautiful.
think the
They
reason
did.
I'd want that there is because that also ties an extra.
Commonplace.
That would have tied an extra bow onto Sally's story, But it would have served as a better end credit scene. I'm in agreement. Um,
And we learned that there is an anvil in town square.
yeah, that's true. We did. I think though my favorite gag that I would have wanted in the film is the one where they're all sliding across the lawn and he's just sitting in his chair casually moving and sliding down the steps.
Looking at the mom's photo.
That is an absurd joke that really got me, I think.
Well, he saved it too. It's keeping the continuity.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But it's some good deleted scenes overall. As deleted scenes, not as something viable for the film itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
that's
what
yeah.
about you,
That's how
Springs?
the season went as a whole.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Springs needs to talk about the deleted scenes.
Yeah, they were goofy and wild, and the TV one, glad it got taken out. The kid with the fire was weird. The Who peeing to block them. I think the cop is better because it also fits where Larry is.
Oh, oh my God! I just realized something. If the deleted scenes were going to slot in where they're supposed to be in the film, Larry took a bite of the taco.
He did.
He's a dedicated man. All right, he knows what he wants.
Yeah, evidently, has a piss fetish too. Apparently,
Jeez, that's the
uh,
least.
uh, favorite character this season?
Cat and Hat. There's no doubt about that. No,
You two have my mind so
I'll
wrangled
take it right.
that it's very hard me to now try to
Who's the most
focus on
attractive
where I am.
person in this season?
I'm happy you're so in shock, Springs.
I
I
am.
guess.
I mean, he said he was making a
I'm
puddle
very
under his
embarrassed.
seat.
Look, if I were there with you, I would have poured you a drink, fist bumped you, and then said, "You did good."
He took it like a champ.
You did. You did. Took it like a champ.
Favorite character? It's interesting. We have such an interesting cast in this season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Paul Rudd from Fundamentals of Caring.
I have a feeling you're gonna say that one. I'm trying. Might be Lawrence or Larry. Oh, he's so funny.
I
I'd just be surprised, Crimson, if you chose someone not from Cat and Hat.
I mean, I was considering the kid from Fundamental. I'm blanking on his name.
um it I don't remember her name, but it's the quote unquote good daughter from Still Alice.
um,
Kirsten Stewart.
Yeah,
Kristen
Kristen
Stewart.
Stewart's character. Yeah. I think I might pick Kristen Stewart. I think she had a very, very
Lydia. Lisa. It
yeah,
starts with an L or
Lydia.
something.
Yeah, Lydia. It's Lydia. You know in the head. Yeah, I think I would pick her. And a lot of the reason is because I think her relationship with her mother is very, very meaningful, and it gets very, very sad through the film. But I think,
Interesting.
yeah, a lot of her relationship stuff in that felt very, funny enough, very real to me. There wasn't a lot of movie moments between her and her mother.
I thought for sure you'd pick Shen or Tigress or something.
Jen would be my second choice.
Interesting, interesting. Well, I'm glad I introduced a good character for you then.
Yes, you did. Excellent. Very happy.
Um, man, we're dragging, but I had one question outside the norm here that I wanted to know because it was our 100th here.
All
Seemed
right. Well,
fitting.
Okay.
throw it out there. We gotta
Granting
rapid
100
fire this
things
stuff.
here, have you guys gone back to anything we've covered and watched?
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've gone back to a few things.
anything in particular?
I've seen
Uh,
the Pixar draft about 5 times.
I mean the actual thing we've covered.
Oh,
Oh, you
Not
mean
that's
not
what
the
you
the
meant.
movies?
podcast.
Okay, not
The
a
Yeah.
pod
actual things
episode,
we've
something we've
covered.
covered that I've gone back and watched. That's what you mean.
Yes. Yeah. Like, did you watch Doctor Strange again or something?
No. I watched 4 times in preparation for the pod and I never plan to watch it again. I
I have
hate
to
that
pull
film.
up our
So do
card.
I. I'm pulling up the roster right now too. You got an answer already, Crimson, by chance?
Um, I'm doing the same thing. Mystery Incorporated. I've seen after the podcast. I know I've seen that for sure. I've seen
Yeah.
Death, the Death short after the podcast.
Let's see. I've seen Death. I've seen Mystery Incorporated. I've seen the music video from my shorts.
Yes, I've seen that too.
Um,
I've seen Lackadaisy
I've
again.
I've seen National Treasure since the pod.
Oh,
I've seen Into the Spider Verse since the pod. I've seen
yeah, that might be it for me. I don't watch too much stuff that isn't on the pod.
yeah, limited on time these days. I get it.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I
That's the one thing that comes to mind is Lackadaisy.
I guess
mm,
Spirit. Ryder and I watched it after the cover, so
I
that
don't think that
counts.
counts, but sure. But yeah, no, that, I think those are what I've watched since we covered them in the pod.
All right, Coolio.
Oh, Clone High. I showed my family Clone High.
And then, well, yeah, and then you watched season 2, right?
Uh, I put that on hold because
Indefinitely.
I was watching another bad TV show and I can only do one at a time. And obviously, right now I'm prioritizing the death of my baby Star Wars again.
Mm.
So that's what I'm focusing on. Um, do we want to
Nice.
do any more general questions?
I think we
But
could just jump to how the season went.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
someone's
been
feeling strong.
yeah.
I don't have questions, but we had another thing in place 400 that we haven't
Oh
done yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Let's do that.
So being for 100, I thought it would be cool that this is for YouTube and Rumble side, so tune into that if you'd like to see it. But the thumbnails we choose, there are more than one option of what gets picked. It's not one is made and that's it. It's multiple get made. I can share that I make them and I pitch them to the group and we vote on which one is the winner, like which one's going to be used as a thumbnail. And I thought it would be cool to show some of the ideas of thumbnails that never got to see the limelight. So I don't know who wants to start.
Uh,
Uh, sure, I'll start. Do you want us just to kind of list them out,
I
or do you
I
want us to?
I mean I can say it to tell you what it is, and then you can go off of it.
Okay. I don't know what order you put them in, so.
Well, the thing is, I don't have it where I can just show you what they are.
Oh, I see.
So
Uh,
I think I'm having them in order of what you gave me. So like your first one's Halo.
okay. Yeah, then I can go down the line from that. I picked a one of our Halo pilot ones. Uh, that's more reminiscent of some of the Halo 4 posters that were out there. The reason I picked it is just because I thought it was a simple one, but I quite liked it. That obviously never really saw the light of day. So
It's definitely some of
uh,
our early work where we didn't have the depth of field, and a lot of the works were the four of us being just on the bottom or the sides of the thumbnail,
yeah,
and not like
this is
in
this
the
is before we
scenes
started
or.
getting. Yeah, this is before we started getting a little more creative. Uh, and then the next one I had picked was Belle, one of the Belle posters. And it's the one where we're all like behind her in like a opposing group, a gang or whatever.
Yeah, I think Sinister said he didn't want this one because it looked like we were being too creepy.
Yeah,
that
I'm
sounds
kind of
familiar.
yeah, I'm kind of in agreement. We look a little creepy, but I still think it's pretty funny. Um, then we got the the Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Uh, I picked that one because our holiday cheer ones are really fun. I quite enjoy them. Um, and this one had us all just kind of goofing around in the scene. so I very much enjoyed it. The next one wasn't really an option for
It really
YouTube
shows so
originally.
much the subjective before you
Yeah,
can even hear
it
it.
it's definitely one that it gave away everything we thought about the show without you having to listen to the podcast, which is one reason why we ended up not going with it. It's Velma, and the character Velma is in a trash can, and the rest of us are standing outside of it,
Where she belongs.
where
And
she
the three of you
belongs.
all have, your plain closed mouth, and I'm smiling like a doofus.
Well, you're the one that stuffed her in there.
Neither can
He's so
confirm nor
happy.
deny.
Look, yeah. Well, look. After the quote unquote homage episode, Sprinks absolutely would have been the one
And if I remember
to
correctly, Crimson, you drew that trash can.
Oh, was that the one?
I
I'm not
think
sure
Uh,
so.
what.
You were asked to do a trash can because of the
I
situation
was
of.
asked. I didn't make it in time, and you got that one.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That's not the one you drew.
No, mine did not make it. Even though I did make one, I didn't meet the deadline.
Um, Next we had before we go one. I like this one because it was like all of us walking together as a group behind the two main characters. Like we were all walking down the street as a group, which I thought was it's that one might be more nostalgic for me because I definitely have memories of when we all used to live near each other, of us walking down the street as a group at night, like from one destination to another because none of us can drive. So that one's definitely more of a nostalgic thing for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then the last one is from Lost in
Oh, yeah.
Translation.
This was the first one that came to mind when you said thumbnails we didn't use.
Yes, this was also first to come to mind for me, and the reason is very obvious because it's the
Now that's
iconic shot of
creepy.
the film.
That's
It is it is the iconic shot of the film, and it is very much us all being creepers.
yeah. You can understand why we didn't use this one.
Yeah, we did not use that one for a very good
Yeah,
reason.
that could have been clickbait. Okay,
Could be.
we didn't go the clickbait route.
Crimson, would you like to go second?
Sure. I imagine mine is
They
also in
they
the
should
order.
be in order.
All right. I chose one of the alternative Sandlot ones because we went with the one where they were like cheering together. But I like this lineup one. We are kind of shrunk to match their heights, which is a little funny, knowing how tall we are as adults. Uh, but I think it looked good spread out and even. Yes. And then the next one's kind of a goofy one with Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge.
That's real
Uh,
goofy.
we got a nice cast photo here of us with Marnie and what's his face, whose name I don't remember, with his stupid nose.
Hot dog dude. I don't know. No, that was the other guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. And next was National Treasure. We went with more like the safe poster look one. I do like the creativeness trying to match the framing of this. Looks pretty good. And then Chief Detective, we kind of mentioned with Apple Dumpling Gang poster during the segment, kind of referencing a poster similar to this with caricatures. And it's funny just seeing our heads in there. But not just on other characters, just grown on ourselves.
Yeah.
And then a kind of a random one at the Thunder Force when they were in the bad guy meeting. Uh, it just we filled the room. It looked pretty good. It's kind of weird picturing that image without us in it because we look like we belong in it.
It would look better if it was the version 2 drawings since the
Yes, with shadows.
anniversary. Yeah. And
Well,
then
yeah, that's all of our old stuff though with the
that's true.
two looks.
Very 2D.
Yeah,
Uh, then I'll go last. I have 7 here. The first one that came to mind was Avatar: The Way of Water, where we were all standing with Jake
on the
on
back of it.
the back of the water creature.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Second one I have was Blade Runner, the final cut, where it was raining, and I have the four of us all with a blue hue to kind of match the color tone on the right hand side. Um, these ones I'm showing to you, audience, they can't see. I'll show them later, but uh,
The Avatar one I had on my list of options too, so I remember that one.
I like the coloring of the Blade Runner one here. My third option was Free Run, one where the three of us were standing on top of the bridge and Free Run was coming to us.
Yes, that was also on my list as well. The only reason I didn't pick it is because it felt too new. Funny enough.
I thought it was a fine contender. I didn't choose anything from this season, I'll say. But number 4 I have is It's a Wonderful Life, where we are creepy gingerbread men in the background.
I remember
Yeah,
that one.
Uh,
That was good.
so also like we're in the group, but we look like monsters. My fifth one is the Lackadaisy one. That's very loud of all the stamps of the three of us all in each set, kind of like poster,
Mhm.
which I thought was cool. I remember Crimson getting him in his was a hassle for me to make. But and then I have the Practical Magic one, where since they have like a fade effect to their heads, I put the four of us all with a fade effect.
That's funny.
And then the last one I have, which is comical, was Serenity, where we're all floating in space around the ship.
Guardians too.
So those
I
are
like that.
just some concept arts or of thumbnails that never saw the light of day,
Yeah,
or ones that we've seen. But
yeah.
See, anything else? The outro is going to have all of our outros montage.
that's right.
Yeah. Please stick around. Crimson worked really hard on all the artwork, and
On visual ends, that
Go
is.
back and find
and
all of
battled
the.
iMovie for to get supremacy.
Mm.
Oh,
How'd the season go?
Went weird. And it
this
could
was
just be me coming off the funk of the bracket, but I think it's oddly just overall just weird. Like
this was definitely a unique season. I
There's no
definitely had.
through line.
There's no through line for the season.
It's jumbled. It's a jumbled season, which is good. Get some decent variety in
Got
there.
a lot of variety. We covered one of the most notorious movies on the podcast,
Mhm.
being Cat in the Hat, amongst amongst
We
amongst our peers, being
covered a
ourselves.
sad movie. Oh,
Um, yeah. Uh, I'm trailing towards the end here because it's been a long day for us here at the podcast.
yeah.
Uh,
yeah, long recording day.
so yeah. So, shall I read us out, gentlemen, or do you guys have any final thoughts?
Um, it's weird that this
Uh,
season we had two different versions of Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
I
that
guess
is,
that's true.
Seeing the range of
yeah.
that guy's acting.
Yeah. If I had a nickel for every time I covered Alec Baldwin on the podcast, I would have two nickels. It's weird that just happened twice in the same
And in one
season.
season.
In
Yeah.
one season. uh, all
I
right.
guess hopefully next season won't suck. That's I guess
Oh
I'll
no!
say on
Anyone want to drop a hint?
That was clever. He just did. That was clever. And way to go, Crimson. Kudos.
Nice. That was good. Truly, truly, mastermind of a song. Well, gentlemen, shall I read us out?
I think
yes,
so.
please.
All right, audience. Thank you for listening, whether it be on Anchor, Amazon, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung. If you have to be on the visual side of things, be it YouTube or Rumble, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe anywhere and everywhere. Tell us how much you hate our opinions and how much you love them. As always, I have been a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson Moon.
And I'm Sprinks.
We will catch you next time. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Toodaloo.